when you get to my level of education, you become a coon or a Negro. And what's the difference between a coon and a Negro, Envy? The Negro is innocent in his ignorance. The Negro think Jesus is white. The Negro think white people are smarter. It's not his fault. He's been miseducated, Charlemagne. But the coon is dangerous. The coon knows Jesus wasn't white. The coon knows white people are not superior to blacks, but they will act like they are because they're going to get something for doing so. The coon consciously sells out his people. The Negro does it out of ignorance. I can work with a Negro. Never trust the coon.
Woman, she thinks she's the center of the universe. Because you guys keep telling these heifers, you're God and shit. You're not God. I will kick you right in the crack of your ass. And say something, but you can't handle the response because you didn't want to answer to the question. I'll leave you to it. Like, that's going to hurt me. Who cares if you leave? If you never watch this channel again, I wouldn't give a damn. But that's the black woman. She thinks she's the center of the universe. Because you guys keep telling these heifers, you're God and shit. You're not God. I will kick you right in the crack of your ass.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how we're going to start this off. So we have the fake Pan-African, definitely mask off, coon on. All right. And this is where he gets. That's why people like this love Donald Trump. So I'm going to show you the video of what everyone's talking about the NABJ, right? And how Trump just did a poor job. We all saw his racism. We all saw his disdain and disgust for black women. And to me, this was a beautiful chess move. Because why? Because we know Trump don't like women and he don't like black people that don't pander to him, right? So you put him there and he just went there and he fell for it. He fell for the trap. It would have been a trap. That's how I know Trump is stupid. This is how you know Trump is stupid. He, as any politician, like, wow, black people don't like me. He knows black people don't like him unless he's delusional and think that people like Pedo Boochie Bare that says it's okay for Trump to walk in on 12 and 14-year-old girls and grabbing women by the pussy and dynasty saying that civil rape is okay. You know, it's okay. As long as you don't go to jail for it, is okay. If you're found, guilty in civil court for raping somebody, that's fine. It's not criminal. So these are the group of pan-Negro coon deplorables that we're talking about. So if you get Trump in a room with regular, upstanding, self-respectable black people, they're not going to do that, right? So it was a brilliant chess move by the Dems. So without further ado, I'm going to play the whole thing. It's about 30 minutes long. I'll make some quick comments, during it or whatever. It shouldn't take too long. Right. And then I got a couple other things. And if anyone want to come in and talk, they want to come in and join, you know how I do here. And I'll put up a little bit of receipts. So, again, I'm fair. And there's some commentary. I'm going to agree with Trump when it comes to certain things because I'm fair. So one thing Trump said is kind of true. But you're going to see what I'm talking about when we get to that part when they ask Trump a specific question. Some people lost it, but I was like, nah, but that's true though. So, all right, cool. So let me play it. I'm gonna play the whole thing, and again, I'm gonna comment through it. I'm not gonna try to take too long or whatever because I want to play its entirety because everyone is showing like the clips and the highlights. I want to show everything in full so you get the whole complete context of the question, the feel of the audience, the women that's asking the questions, so you guys can understand. Right? So here we go.
To the stage, ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Semaphore political reporter Kadia Goba.
So the first two women you see there, they're not right wing. You know, the other one, you know, it's ABC, right? The other one in the middle, I'm not familiar with that publication, so let's call her independent.
And anchor of the Faulkner Focus and co-host of Outnumbered on Fox News, Harris Faulkner.
So they got to have a Kuun there, right? Because she excuses a lot of deplorable behavior, you know, that white people do against black people, and then, you know, turn on black people. So that's, again, and you're familiar with this channel, that is the MO of a Republican. As you see there, you have the fake Pan-African, the MAGA dude that has finally put a MAGA hat on because people know who you are. So the grift is up with Boochie Pedo Bare. So they have to bend the knee to white supremacy and say all the racist tropes about black people. So I think this is a fair panel.
NABJ. Mic's on? Hear me? There we go. Test. Good afternoon, NABJ.
So already they have mic trouble. You guys may know where that's going to lead to.
And welcome to a conversation with former President Donald Trump. This discussion continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president and the impact of those policies, especially in black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the NABJ conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. NABJ is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can
It's been PolitiFact checked in real time, guys. In real time.
access that feed on social media.
So the applause shows that fact checking needs to be happening, where Donald Trump, as he normally does, just live rapidly like a machine gun.
Using the hashtag NABJ fact check. Again, the hashtag is NABJ fact check. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time. So let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
You hear like 5 people going, woo! 5 at the most. Look at the crowd there. You got 5 people doing that.
Thank you.
I played it back. You're going to hear them. She's going to introduce herself. I'm going to play it again.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you.
How are you? How are you? How are you?
See, so everything is cordial so far. They shook hands. How you doing, Mr. Trump? Thanks for being here. How are you? How are you? How are you? Right? So far, so good. Okay.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time.
Mr. Trump, we appreciate you for giving us your time. Very cordial, very respectful.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States.
Trump did that, and Trump was one of the people that started that Barack Obama was not born in the United States.
Which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from.
So that's Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, was to be the squad. He's telling them to go back where they came from. You know, so he doesn't like Muslims, don't like black people. So telling them to go back where they come from, we all know is a typical racist American trope.
You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked
Black district attorney. So she's talking about Fani Lewis and Letitia James, where he made a name for Letitia James, call her Peekaboo James, and he really wants to say Jigaboo, but he called her Peekaboo, Jigaboo, right? And he made fun of Fani Lewis as being some whore.
attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
So that'll be Nick Fuentes. You had an alt-right, staunch white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, at his home.
So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Now, so far, everything is cool. She's asking questions. She's saying, you said these are the factual things that you have said since you came in the political sphere, and is very anti-black, anti-Muslim. You have, in the case of Rashida Ilhan Omar, because she's black and she's Muslim, right? So we're still talking about black people here, right? And and you're aligning yourself with white supremacists and white nationalists. You're here now in front of the black press, the black audience. You're on the campaign trail. Why should we vote for you, Mr. Former President?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because
so we all know that's a lie, because I replayed it back many a times how everything was going cordial. She was cordial. She was respectful. She said, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. How you doing, Mr. Trump? She's asking questions. He got caught up in his feelings. He doesn't like the line of questioning. This man is extremely emotional. He should not. He's too emotional to run the country, and not smart to run the country. If I was Trump, I would just basically say, well, those things, I don't agree with those things, or you saw those things as you're taking it out of context, has been misconstrued. You know, I don't feel that way. That's what you would say. But what he does, he attacks the black woman, asking a question that's on all black people's minds. All black people want to know, why did Trump do all that? You hear, you want our vote? You know what? We're all ears. You can't say that, hey, we're not going to give you a chance. Hey, we're Democrats. We're independent. We want you, Mr. Trump, to change our mind. And this is what he does.
because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And
see how appalled the audience is?
I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
Which is a lie, and you hear like 4 hand claps.
Including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money.
You see how he's not answering the question? She said, you said all these things, right? You made all these statements, right? What do you say about that? Why should black people do that? He's not addressing what he has said. He said, yeah, I said all those racist things, but look at all the fake things that I did for you guys.
They were stone cold broke. and I saved them, and I gave them long-term finance.
She's talking about HBCUs. That's not true. We all know that's something that Obama implemented. It was already in the works. It was already put together during the Obama administration. But since it's Trump, all he had to do was sign it. He didn't do anything but sign it. He didn't say, you know what? HBCUs don't have enough money. HBCUs need more money. You know what? I'm going to put something together because black people need education. Education for black people. No, that's a false narrative he's trying to paint. That's a false narrative he's trying to paint. He did not head that. He did not galvanize this thing for HBCUs for black people and black colleges to have funding.
And nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very
He just lied again. Nobody else was doing it. That's a lie.
rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala.
Why would Biden, whether it's Biden or Kamala, like, why would they have Joe Biden there? Like, he's, again, more of his cognitive decline.
I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were
Where is Zoom? She can't do it. She's not coming. Did he just say Zoom is a person? Hold on. I gotta play that back. Is Zoom a person?
She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. Okay. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the
nasty question.
And why you
I have
that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
So obviously that's not true. She's booing him. The audience is booing him.
To start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think.
So let's address the whole she couldn't get her equipment to work. I'm not in showbiz or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure when you have a TV set, right, a network setting, right, it's not a TV set, but you have a network setting there where you're gonna record. You have an actually TV set to broadcast like a news set like this, right? You have cameras, right? You have the camera people. You have the sound people, right? The people that has the mics on the stage or the mics on his lapel on you. Those people are in charge of the mics. The people, the commentators, and then people that's hosting whatever news event or news broadcast, they are not in charge of the mics. From what I know, you have sound engineers that are in charge of the mic. So him blaming her for the reason for well, my mic is not working is a little retarded. Is a little retarded while he's blaming her, and he's going to keep blaming her, only her, through the duration of this, because he didn't like a very good question that she asked, a very good question of why all Black Americans want to know. You've been doing all these things over 4 years, and since your campaign, that's despicable. We want to know why you're saying that. We want to know why you're doing that. And he avoided the question, saying all these false things that he did for Black people when he didn't do those things for Black people. So I'm gonna stop it here. He's always nasty to people like that, right? This is a person, this is supposed to be a president, representative of all people, right? All people, and he's supposed to have some type of decorum, some type of class, right? But anytime something doesn't go his way, he lashes out at people. What's up, Brother Bakari? He always lashes out at people like a child. Like a child. So I'm going to show you here. There was another time while he was on a campaign trail. This is not new to Trump, where his mic wasn't working, and he threw a fit about his mic not working. It's like this is not person is not fit to run anything. So let me show you here.
$505 billion. $505 billion. We're going to lose that. $505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell brought this mic system, don't be the son of a bitch to put it in. I'll tell you. These people. No, this mic is terrible. Stupid mic keeps popping. Do you hear that, George? Don't pay him. Don't pay.
Now, did he call that person nasty? Did he call he called him a son of a bitch and stuff like that, which is uncalled for. You know what I'm saying? This is who Trump is, right? And not a nice person at all, right? But it's going to get worse. So he's defaming Americans that's putting in work. And they think it's a comedy show. If Trump was a comedian, I don't care. He could say whatever you want. I don't care. He's funny. You know what I'm saying? He got a funny look. He's an orange clown. You know, that's fine. You know, he farts and shits on himself, wears diapers. That's a good gig. You know what I'm saying? That's a good show that he could put on the road. But we're talking about politics, so we have to take it seriously. But it gets worse.
Pay him. You know, I believe in paying. Don't pay him. You know, I believe in paying. But when somebody does a bad job, like this stupid mic, you shouldn't pay the bastard.
Son of a bitch, call him a bastard. So, but what Trump is saying, he's telling the truth in this regard, because he had to say what he had to say because he doesn't pay his contractors. So that's why the casino. That's why he doesn't have a casino no more, right? Well, for other reasons why he don't have a casino no more. All the projects that he's done in Jersey. I did a show about that, about why Trump is such a failed business person and a scam artist. You know, he had Trump University, which is a scam. He had to he was sued for that. That had to been shut down. He had to pay the people restitution from them getting scammed. He had to pay contractors and vendors that he doesn't pay, and the job could be good and he just doesn't pay them. Right. So when Trump says this, he's actually telling the truth. But this is a presidential man. This is very presidential of calling people sons of bitches and all these despicable names.
You know, I believe in paying. But when somebody does a bad job, like this stupid mic, you shouldn't pay the bastard. Terrible. Terrible. It's true.
So he's saying if you pay for something and you don't like it, you don't have to pay anybody. So if I'm a consumer, I'm paying for something and I don't like my product or my service, I don't say, hey, can I get a discount on this service? Because, you know, it's a really mediocre job. If I have a product, I don't like the product. Well, can I get refunded my product or get a discount off of my product? Because the product you have is not up to par of what the product's supposed to do. No, Trump doesn't say that. Don't pay him. But that's how criminals think, and he's a criminal.
And you got to be tough with your people because they'll pay. They don't care. They'll pay. So we're not going to pay. I guarantee I'm not paying for this mic. Every 2 minutes I hear like boom, boom.
Well, that's if you're.
So I just wanted to show you that this show, just like for those naysayers are saying, well, no, Trump is not normally like that. No one's saying that, but I wanted to show you guys that just because if we have some naysayers and saying that, oh, well, no, because it's black people now. Black people are held at a higher standard of caliber. A white person can mess up, and there'll be a whole bunch of excuses why a white man can mess up and stuff like that. But when it's black people, now you niggas, you know what I'm saying? But that's the spirit of Donald Trump and niggas who love Donald Trump. That's the spirit. You know what I'm saying? White people, black people are going to be held at a higher standard, and they have to have exemplary service and no mistakes, but the bar is lowered for white people. So I just wanted to show you guys that, because that's the energy that's being given, right? So let's go back to Trump treating black women despicably.
It's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead.
This fucking asshole. How do you define DEI? Like, she just asked you a question, so you're going to answer a question with a question. Really shows you don't know what the hell you're talking about, especially define DEI, because he doesn't know what it means.
How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
That is the definition. That is the definition. Diversity, inclusion, equity. That is the definition. Is that your definition? No, that is. You don't know what diversity means? Yeah, like you know, it's Trump. Who knows?
Give me a
Literally the
definition then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President
He doesn't know what it is. This is insane. This is insane. He doesn't know what it is. He's in front of an audience of Black people talking about your campaign keep defaming people. Remember the bridge that collapsed in Delaware, right? They're all saying, "Oh, it's a DEI." Republicans say, "Oh, it's a DEI," when the person that was driving was some type of European freighter or whatever, or something like that. But no, it's DEI I hired. Then what they pivot to? They pivot to the mayor. Oh, how because it's the mayor? How? What? It's the mayor's fault that a cargo freight carrier crashed into the Delaware Bridge. Like, they're trying so hard to be racist and demonize Black people. Then Charlie Kirk, right? You got Negroes with Charlie Kirk, the chick that went to the Chick-fil-A and made believe that, you know, oh, I'm just a genuine Black person that's an independent when she works for Charlie Kirk. The same Charlie Kirk that says when I see a Black pilot, I get nervous because they're a DEI hire. This is the base of the Republican Party, which is self-hate. It's not self-hate. It's just a hatred of Black people. It goes along the same trope that Black people are not capable enough or not smart enough to do certain jobs, which doesn't make any sense because there's no such thing. So like the whole pilot thing. I worked in aviation. That's one of my industries that I worked in. I spoken to pilots, right? There's no such thing as I'm going to give you a DEI test. Okay, you pass that test. Okay, you're going to go to the flight simulator. Okay, we're going to have a DEI flight simulator. There's one for just Black and brown people. Then there's a flight simulator for Black and brown people and a flight simulator for white people. And then we're going to score you differently. That's not a thing. But they have to toe that racist line for their racist base, and then the MAGA Kuns just go along with it.
Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black.
She must be known as Black. Now she's Black.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always identified as a Black woman.
I respect.
No. This is where y'all gonna get mad at me, especially Brother Vakar. No, she's not always just identify as Black. So I don't know when Trump knew her, if he ever knew her indirectly. That is a very, very, very fair question to ask. Wait, she's Black now? She's Indian now? Right? So again, with mulatto people, it's mixed. And it's a very fair question, right? It's a very fair question. So I'm gonna do a quick sidebar here, right? This is where I kind of agree with Trump, because if you're following somebody that is biracial, right? I mean, really, realistically speaking, Indian people are the closest people to Black people, right? So let's say that's genetically, that's historically, you know, they have a lot of our religion, our ancient religions, it's all, that's when you just studied Indian history, religion, customs, language, linguistics, especially religion. It's the parallels is crazy. They're our closest cousins, right? But in this day and age, I'm only using race, so it's more palatable in this day and age, right? But they're our closest cousins. But let me share this with you, because we all know there's times when you promote one and not the other, right? And that's the thing. So right here you have a Twitter feed, right? So it says Kamala Harris. This is her Twitter feed. Growing up, my mom made Punjab Kohli, and my dad made collard greens, while Donald Trump's dad made sure black people couldn't rent his apartments. Yes, really. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm like, wait. Her father's Jamaican. What yard man making collard greens? Like collard greens. I'm like, okay. To me, antennas go up. Like, what? If you say, hey, my father made ackee and saltfish and some bun and cheese or something like that, then I'm like, oh, okay. Or fried dumpling or like something like that. Then I'm like, oh, okay. But collard greens, so I'm like, all right. Right then it says this is Kamala Harris. Harris would look like if she was black or Indian, which means he's right. It's like you couldn't really tell, right? The same thing. This was on the Daily Show. It was funny. It says two races in one person. Now I've seen everything. If these people ever saw a Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, they lose their fucking minds. We said, what is this, a DI restaurant? You know what I'm saying? So this is what I want to really go into, right? So this is her family.
Is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
hold on. This is her family, right? Indian family. Here's my black mother and father, right? I'm not sure that's her father. I saw a different picture. But oh well, let's go with that.
Yes.
you are
Yes.
Indian.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
Okay, so what we're gonna cook today. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever.
Okay. So she's Indian. She's talking to Mindy. She's like a white girl Indian. She talks white husband. She's one of these Indians that ascribe to be white because they Indians too, like us, because we were colonized by the same bastards, the British, and for the Indians will also be the Syrians, right? So they have a complex about being dark skin or brown skin. So obviously she's gonna say that because people may not know that. Why? Because people see Kamala as what? Black. They see her as black. So she's not gonna say in this instance, well, Mindy, you know I'm black, right? But but Mindy probably found out, oh no, she's also Indian. So you're seeing this and saying, well, she's Indian, here she goes, and using this as Twitter as, look, she's Indian. But if she was only just promoting Indian, why would they say, but people may know that you're Indian? Because she's going around saying that she's black.
Wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like our thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
But actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true.
So everyone knows that she's black, but then you have some Indians who don't even know that she's Indian. You know what I'm saying? So she's both. Now, I'm not one to say that she is, I would never say that she's cosplaying because she's black and she's Indian, but sometimes, yes, you push one more than the other, right? You know, am I saying that? Yeah. Does she have to do a horrible job of pushing black culture when she was running for a president? Talking again, like I said before, Fife Dog, peace out to Fife Dog. I listened to this song when I was in college when she's saying peace out to Fife Dog when Fife Dog was dead. That song never came out when she was in college. So it's a lot of weird things about her quote unquote black side, right? I want to show one more thing, right, where just to drive my point home, where again, we got to understand racial politics. This is probably like the third, fourth time I'm saying this. Even though she claims to be black, depending on what space that she's in, when this society, this government, this country sees you as a black person, they're going to treat you as a black person. Fuck your feelings, right? Because we are not the dominant society. We don't make the rules, right? These are the rules, and everyone goes according to those rules. So if blackness is being placed upon her, I'm not saying to open her up with, or anybody up with welcome arms because the dominant society says that, the white society says that, but you have to know that the attack on her will be also an attack on you. That's just how racial politics is played out. That's all that I'm trying to say. So right here, let me play this right here. So this is on Tavis Smiley's State of the Union, and I see a whole bunch of them, but I'm not familiar with Kamala Harris. This is 2006. So I probably saw him like, okay, she's just talking, some black woman just talking, whatever. I didn't think nothing of it, right? It goes to show you how she could, easily just blend, just blend in, right? So let me play it.
Can't beat that. Madam DA, back to the question I posed earlier. I'm wondering whether or not with these kinds of numbers, it's a challenge to reform the criminal justice system, to keep our people out of it, a challenge. That's why it's one of the top 10 issues. That's why it's in this covenant document. But these numbers don't inspire hope necessarily that there are going to be enough of us around in the coming months and years, certainly years, to implement this covenant the way these numbers are going.
The covenant, first of all, Tavis, I want to thank you for what you've done, bringing us together and convening us. We've had a lot of time waiting to come out to talk with each other and bond, and it's an incredible group. The criminal justice system is not working for the African American community. I can tell you as the chief law enforcement officer for a major city in this country that it is not working. We see that in the statistics that you've outlined. 2 million people are in the prison system in this country. Over 40% are African American, in spite of the fact that we only constitute 13% of the general population. It's not working. It's not working.
You hear she's using we, she's using us, she's using black people. So obviously, she's at the State of the Black Union. She is a black woman. I'm going to let her finish.
Working when we recognize that African American men, the leading cause of their death is homicide. We are overly represented both as victims and as defendants and as witnesses. Our communities suffer because our babies hear the gunfire every night. So the 7-year-old has post-traumatic stress disorder and cannot go to school the next day and learn. The criminal justice system is not working for us. What I think we have failed to do as a community, however, is own this issue of law enforcement. We talk about these statistics in the context always of it is unfair, it's morally incorrect. Maybe we have learned that from the church. It is morally incorrect, but nobody cares about that. You can look at Katrina. Nobody cares about the fact that we've got a bunch of young black and brown men in prison. That argument is not working. What I suggest we do as African Americans is own this issue in law enforcement and then define it in the way that works for us, because it is a myth to say that African Americans don't want law enforcement. We do. We want our grandmothers to be able to walk to church and be safe. We want our babies to be able to walk to the park and be safe. What we don't want is racial profiling. What we don't want is excessive force. That's right. What we don't want is to have our civil liberties and civil rights be stripped, but we do want law enforcement.
So she's absolutely right? And Trump wants to give cops immunity. I know I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit, immunity, right? And all these things are going to roll back. So I'm going to talk about her record. So unless someone has like concrete evidence, otherwise, when I view her record, it's mixed depending on what side you're on. If you're on the extreme liberal side, You be like, oh my gosh, she's locking people up and da 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 da. And if you're on the extreme Republican side, conservative side, she's not locking up enough black people, and she needs to lock up more black people. But most black people out there narratives like, oh, she locked a lot of black people up. She locked a lot of black people up. But when I see her record, it's like, okay, so let's say, like, for instance, if you're a drug dealer and you're selling drugs. I heard there were programs that she would implement and be like, hey, look, you're selling drugs. You're not supposed to be selling drugs for a lighter sentence or whatever. You need to go to a work program, right? If you're a drug user, you know what? You either go to jail or you go get clean, right? Those were the things, and those were the stipulations of some of her sentences. And you got to understand, she is a prosecutor, not a defense attorney. If she was a defense attorney, it would flip it. Look at all the people who she's defending, these horrible people that she's defending. Those are your clients. So you're going to have to defend those people, right? So again, it depends how people view the record. There's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of context that needs to be viewed in certain ways of what she's doing and how she's doing it. So to me, her record is mixed. So I will be looking forward to like a Q&A with her. People talk about her record and her go into more detail about her record and defending her record, whether she thinks it's good or bad, if she made some mistakes and things, and things of that nature. So her record is spotty, but to me is not more extreme, like, oh, she was just locking black people up just to do it. Or, she was letting a lot of black people go. And she wasn't hard on crime. She was hard on crime, right? And black people's narrative is like, oh, it's us. But I mean, she's talking the talk like, hey, look, I'm not going to lock a whole bunch of black people up and da-da-da. I'm the attorney general of San Fran, and I'm not doing that. So it depends how you guys see it. So I'm going to get back. I just want to show you guys that, and that's where I kind of agree with Trump. Like, okay, she's supposed to be Indian. I thought she was Indian. You have a lot of people thinking that she's Indian. So that's a fair question. Like, someone probably needs to correct Trump. Like, well, she also considers herself black too as well. But I don't think he should get beat up for as that for too much. Get beat up for that like that. Because he's like, hey, I thought the chick was Indian,
Either one. I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she...
Look, that's fair. Barack Obama. Before Barack Obama came in, before he went to Chicago, he was just a half a Negro, right? Barack Obama didn't embrace his black side at all. To the point, this is in his book, he used to have all his white friends call him Barry. Hey, Barry. He didn't respect his Africanness. He didn't respect his Kenyanness so much. Like, nah, motherfucker, you're going to call me Barack. That's my black ass African name. I'm a black man. And where the black women at? No, he wasn't doing that. He was like, okay, you can't pronounce it. You could just call me Barry. Just call me Barry. That's okay. That's sufficient enough. Where the white women at? Because the first woman he dated was Michelle Obama, was a black woman. He wasn't into black women, right? Until he got to Chicago. Then he became black. So again, I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all disagree with that. Trump kind of got a point there.
I think somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir.
That's where I don't disagree. Again, he keeps saying she's nasty, saying things in a hostile tone. And I told my wife, when white supremacists, your blackness is a threat to them, right? Your blackness is a threat to them. So when someone when you have a white supremacist like Donald Trump engages in a black woman, if she's not bowing down and kissing her ring and kissing his ass, is like, oh, whoa, you're black and you're doing this? Oh, how hostile, how nasty. When you're like Byron Donald and Tim Scott and all these other MAGA Kuns and Negroes, oh, he black, oh my God. Oh, but he's a good nigga though. See, he's kissing down, he's been in the ring, Let me pat this nigga on the head like Brian Down. Good boy, good nigga. I mean, good boy, good boy, good boy. Now you're good. You're one of the good ones now. So that's why she's so hostile to him.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings in that.
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so.
And that's the Fox News host. Even she said, "Oh, it's the longest one of your life." Like, God, nigga, like, I like you, but geez, this is long. I gotta see your black ass, jeez, for so long. God damn it, you know. So this is who Donald Trump is.
We had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided.
That's the Kuun Fox News host. So that's why he's being very nice to her, because she bends the knee. She bends the knee. So let's see what type of questions she's going to ask. Let's see if she's going to ask a lot of hardball questions like the sister in the blue asked.
Divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
That is a good question. It's kind of a softball question a little bit, but it's a very good question. It's not a hard-hitting question of saying, it's not holding him accountable to all the shit that he said, all the things that he did and didn't do. She's giving him like, hey, here's an easy layup. What do you want? What's the message you want to send right now after you failed horribly and miserably attacking that black woman with the first question and avoiding accountability of the words that you have spoken and said?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of
he's going to say it.
The journalists in this room, I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the boy.
they had. We know, Donald. We know they're black. I know you have to put emphasis on that.
There are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs.
He said it. He said black jobs. They're taking black jobs.
You had the best.
What exactly is a black job?
That crowd is like outraged. So he's saying they're taking. Yeah, I'm gonna let her answer. What exactly is a black job?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
you know niggas don't work, right? You know niggas don't work. We work the corner. Anybody that has a job, a black job. So why? Okay, I'm gonna be fair here. Trump said anybody that has a job. So if a black job is anybody that has a job, why would you specify it as a black job? That's where I don't get it. It's like he did a bad job of covering up, his racism. What is a black job? Black people only get specific jobs. Asians get specific jobs. Whites get specific jobs. Oh shit, that is right. Because I understand how Trump thinks. Remember, he had an accountant and he found out when his accountant was black. And he said he doesn't want a nigga counting his money. He'd rather get a Jew count his money. So that is possibly, yeah, that's how Trump thinks. So it makes sense. Oh, it makes sense now. I don't want a nigga counting my money. Yeah, I want a Jew. Yeah, it makes sense. So a journalist. So you have he's just addressed this journalist here, right? He says they're coming to take your job. So someone from another country could come and get my job as a journalist, because my job is journalism. I'm a writer. I went to this college. I did this. I did that. I may have a degree in political science. I may also have be a lawyer, right? I passed the bar exam, because I am talking about politics and law. No. Fuck all that. that Mexican over there is gonna get your job. with none of that experience. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. A black job. So he think black job is what is niggas working at McDonald's and car washes and janitors and maids. I don't get it.
They're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in.
See, the foxholes is trying to say, Mr. President, trying to save him because he's Donald Trump is self-destructing right now.
And they're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even ascended.
Now he's pivoting. They say Kamala Harris was good because she used to when they want to skirt the conversation of, oh, you guys are just indiscriminately sending people back. Oh, but Kamala's the border czar. Get off my back. Now he's saying, oh, she's the border czar, but she's the worst border czar. See how they lie depending on what they're talking about, the context of the discussion. They'll use a lie and they'll flip it. Whatever is advantageous to them, they'll use that lie or they'll flip it to their advantage.
Essentially been, she said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs.
So wait. Let me get this right, y'all. They're taking black jobs, Hispanic jobs. The jobs they're not taking are white jobs and Asian jobs. But they are taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. So again, the racism is not that deep to find out what it is. So white people so what he's saying, black people cannot get black people, Hispanic people cannot get quote unquote a white job. Someone need to ask them, okay, Donald Trump, they're taking black jobs and they're taking Latino jobs. Can you please tell us what a white job is? It seems like white people are very safe because I guess you try to draw a narrative like, hey, look, I'm only some people at the border for y'all niggas, right? White jobs are safe. I'm only doing this for black people, the black people. I'm only doing it for the black people. So what is a white job? There's black journalists there, right? So I guess journalism would not be a black job. I guess it was just, or maybe I don't know. The racism is so blatant, yo.
Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down.
He didn't say it. He didn't say it because this is a script. Everything that Trump just said is a script. He says it everywhere, which has not been proven at all. But he broke from the script. He was smart to break from the script. The script is, he will say everything that he said, but he left out, they come from Africa. They come from China. The mental institutions and prisons, they come from Africa. He didn't say that. Now you FBA niggas and WABO and ADOS coon ass niggas may think like, I ain't African. Don't matter, nigga. Donald Trump sees you as African. So it's gonna affect you. He has pivoted away a little bit from that speech, right? Because it's hateful. He's talking to a quote unquote minority group. So he has to generalize where all this crime and all these migrants are coming from, right? But when he normally tells that speech, I wish I had put that video up. When he normally tells that speech is like they're coming from Africa. They're coming from Africa. And even Boochie Pedo MAGA Bear said that, yes, all Africans coming from Africa trying to get to America, they're criminals because they don't have quote unquote legal papers. Now, if someone's coming from Africa, they're coming on a plane. So let's say they even come to the southern border, right? They say, look, I'm seeking asylum. So let's say someone like Ilhan Omar, right? Where it was going on over there in Somalia and wherever, right? That are refugees, right? They could seek asylum. There's our ports of entry where they could seek asylum. Even though they'll come through ports of entry, right? And they end up being here, yes, they're legally or illegal by that standard because they don't have documentation, but they're supposed to go through ports of entry. So immigration has to be improved, but they're not like elite. He put this nefarious thing on black people as well as Mexicans saying that they're illegal criminal migrants. You know, Boochie Bare, he's like an NPC. He's like a program that you put in. He had to repeat the same thing. Why? Because he's a fucking idiot. Because Donald Trump is a fucking idiot, and Donald Trump says the same thing. And Boochie Bare and Dynasty, Princess Dynasty, and Anton Daniels and the Black Conservative, they all say the same thing. There is a script. There is a Black Kuun MAGA script they have to go by, that they go by all the time, because they are not independent thinkers, right? So him saying this is very, very damaging and also a lie.
Down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the
See, so that's a Fox News commentator saving him.
Issues with Black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
Sure.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The
country is not going through inflation. That's a Fox News. That's why, I mean, Fox News is the worst network, whatever, with the lies. They've been sued and they even go to court with the whole election fraud, you know, and that it was stolen, and the voting machines were rigged and they lost that. They're paying hundreds of millions of dollars. I mentioned this before. And around that time, that's when they booted Tucker Carlson, because Tucker Carlson was a part of telling those lies. So again, saying that inflation is a problem to the point where there's going to be some great recession is a lie. When you look at the stock market, even Fox News reported that the stock market is doing well. Fox Business, to be specific, Fox Business is saying the market is doing well.
nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single Black moms. When you look statistically, How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the Black community when it comes to money?
So
here we go.
First of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment. Because I guess, you know, this woman was unable to get the right equipment.
This woman, see, so there's 3 women on there. He just blamed the Black woman again. The audience is laughing like, what the hell? Like, in just disgust. He didn't blame her. He doesn't know who sets the mics up. But let's say she was the go-to person for everything. He's not blaming the Black Fox News commentator. He's blaming the Republican left-leaning Black woman commentator and just blaming and dumping on her. But we're not supposed to see this as racist or at least despicable behavior. Even if you take race out of it, this is just despicable behavior. And this is on Front Street for everybody to see. This is on Front Street for everybody. It's just despicable, man.
But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually, but the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it.
What a bit.
The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58.
This orange racist bastard is not answering the question. Okay, inflation is horrible. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they fucked up the economy. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The question is, what are you going to do to fix black people? She gave you a Fox News commentator saying black women, black people suffer, especially black single mothers. What are we gonna do? Well, according to Boochie Bare, he would just kick them in the ass, right? You just kick black women in the ass because, bitch, you shouldn't be asking me questions. You a nigga, stay in your place, right? But they're asking Donald Trump, what are you gonna do for black people and black women? Because inflation is so bad. We can't get homes. Food is high. What are you doing for us, Donald Trump?
8 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream.
You orange bitch, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do about that? We don't need a lesson. We know already. We live it. What are you gonna do?
Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy.
Nothing for black people. Just say, I ain't giving y'all niggas nothing. Just say that. We got to start on energy. Right? Start with energy. So what does that even mean? How is decreasing energy or falling energy somewhere else, taking it away or adding it somewhere else, going to directly help black people in America? This orange nigga can't even lie good. At least lie and say I'm gonna give you the platinum plan for real this time. At least say, well, you know what? Yeah, the interest rate is high now. It should be at 4%. You know what I'm gonna do for black people? I'm gonna give you guys low interest rates. Right? I'm gonna go to banks, to Bank of America and all the top 500 Fortune 500 banks and say, look, I'm going to put an initiative so home loans could be cheaper for black people, right? No, he's not saying that. That is the answer we're looking for, right? That's the answer. That's not something where you have to write a check, right? That's not something where you have to write a check. He's not doing nothing. Nothing. He can't even lie because his base is going to fucking lose it. That's why he's not saying he's going to do anything for black people, because his base will lose their goddamn mind.
By Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might,
Joe Biden is not running. Why do you keep talking about Joe Biden? They don't have a contingency plan for Kamala Harris. Joe Biden.
I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly.
They're just laughing at him.
The polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing what you say. Let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign.
No. So again, he's telling another lie. Biden was not yet the Democratic nominee as of yet. So it wasn't official. They had the Republican on National Convention, and they finally made Donald Trump the official candidate for the Republican Party. So people keep saying, hey, switch, because, you know, which I hate. They didn't have a DNC, which I didn't like. I hated that, right? Where all you know is fucking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or whatever, right? So from my view, they're able to switch it now because, again, it's the presumptive nominee for president, Kamala Harris, right? So other people can still throw their hat in the ring. So it's Trump, so he's lying.
Campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President, you're not answering the fucking question. What are you going to do for black people?
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add.
This orange nigga ain't even saying what he's going to do for black people.
The really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is also impacting Black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah. Well,
you saw the gesture he made? He said, I don't know anything about it, but it didn't look good to me. You talk about the thing with the water. You see his hand gesture where he's throwing something. Action speaks louder than words, right? You may not say something, but your gesture says it. So already he said the thing with the water, making a hand gesture like she threw water. So already, guys, that already tells me that, oh, she was right to get shot in the fucking face because she was throwing hot water on a police officer. He made that hand gesture. Let me roll it back a little bit just in case you guys missed it.
Are you talking with the water, right?
yeah. Well, police.
You see that? With the water. So he already has a preconceived notion of it, in my opinion. I don't know that for a fact, but if we've seen the video and you're well informed, you know that woman did not do that. She didn't even make way to do it. She apologized and she freaking ducked for cover, and they went around the fucking counter to fucking shoot her. But this fucking Nazi ass piece of rapist, pedo piece of shit is gonna make a hand gesture like she tried to do that. How can how can people fucking vote for a motherfucker like this, man? I don't fucking understand. This is like enraging. It's like it's very enraging. To like, this is the type of person that just people. I'm not even going to use race as a because we're all. I feel the majority of people are decent people, but it's the majority of people don't step up to speak up for fucking decency. Like, whatever, man. Let me play it.
I mean, police unions are not backing this person either. Okay. But again, why would
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or
see, there's no condemnation of what someone lost their life. Peace out to Brother Bakari. I'm sorry, I'm upset. Brother Bakari says I need to kind of tone down my language, and and I'm going to try to. I'm just very upset. I do want children to young adults and everyone to hear this, so I would tone down my language. The only reason why I use the N-word is to describe how I feel the mentality of this person, but I will do better. Right. Thank you for that, Brother Bakari. I really do appreciate that. But you see how has this ambiguous way of describing the Sonia Massey case. I'd rather him say, look, I heard about it. I didn't see the tape. I don't know what's going on. Until I see the tape and get further information, then I would speak on it. That'll be a smart thing to say. But the hand gesture thing with the throwing of the water thing, if he saw the video or not, it seems like he already has made a decision based upon what he see or what he heard.
Or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be?
You want to help that person? What about the people that lost a loved one? You want to help police officers that commit a mistake? Fine, right? My parents were cops, right? In another country, right? So then I know what it's like to be, to have parents that are cops. I have friends of the family, they're cops also, right? They made a mistake, a lethal mistake. Why not be concerned with both parties? You have a cop that made a mistake. If he made a mistake, he probably feels terrible. If he's an upstanding human being, he probably feels terrible. But you have someone that they lost an aunt, they lost a mother, they lost a daughter, they lost a niece, right? What are you going to do to repair that? I think that's more damaging than a cop just simply making a mistake. That just feels bad. Where you just altered someone's whole life.
What would determine
you go after somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous, and they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing, because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
How do you know that the guy in the Sonia Massey had issues? This person had issues, and he shouldn't have been a cop at all. Again, complete sympathy for cops. None for the Black victims. None for the Black woman.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Boom, exactly.
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted.
That's a lie.
I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case.
That could be overturned.
Was the most,
because the judge he had was a Trump appointed judge, so she made something like an indecision, but it could be overturned.
Difficult case, and I just won it. Now Biden has a.
I'm sorry to keep cutting you up. It's the documents case, so we all know that he took documents. We all seen pictures of it. We all seen him saying that it's his, and he could declassify the documents just by thinking about it and shit like that. So he's guilty of that.
A similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden.
He was no longer president.
He wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time, and he had 50 years worth of documents, and they.
I'm sorry, I gotta keep stopping it because I'm doing a fact check live on the spot. The difference between Mike Pence also had documents. Biden had documents. Trump had documents. You know what's the difference between Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and Joe Biden? When FBI say, hey, we noticed that you guys got some records. Oh my God, you do? Yeah, okay. Here, Joe Biden, it's in my basement by the Corvette or whatever. Go get it. Okay, thank you, Mr. Biden. Hey, Mike Pence, we heard you got some. It's right there. Go get it. Trump, you got like a couple hundred records, boxes of records. Okay, here's 6 boxes. Mr. Trump, there's more. No, there isn't. Mr. Trump, these are the records that we need. Can you please give it to us? Mr. Trump, it's been like 30 days. Can we please get the record? Lawyers hiding it. They hiding it in the basement. They hiding it on the stage. Then they invade Mar-a-Lago because you got secrets, nuclear secrets that he said that they had an Australian businessman saying he was bragging about on the nuclear secrets. They have submarine nuclear secrets that they have, not in a secure place. Mar-a-Lago, anybody could come there. He's friends with freaking Kim Jong-il and friends with Putin, and he loves Duterte. Like anyone could just come in there and do that because it's a private residence. It has to be in a secure government facility. So again, I'm only saying this because he's lying. I hope you guys don't mind me stopping it, but fact check me. Please fact check me because I know what I'm talking about. So he's just lying.
Ruled that he was incompetent and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him.
More lies.
I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
See how he's attacking the black woman because he's affiliated with ABC? I ain't seen no ABC doing that. He's attacking the black woman again.
Do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
No, excuse you. You're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can...
Despicable. 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 And you hear the crowd in ooh and on because this is despicable behavior.
Move on now to the state of the race, sir. I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented.
He's not going to answer the question. Did you know that prior to you making him your VP? I know this.
And he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here. He also says that people that don't have children should get less votes than those that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your campaign
I think
position?
I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay?
The people without families are better and far superior? Okay. So what you saying?
He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean.
That was not the question. The question is, did you know that was his sentiment before you picked him for VP? I'm going to keep saying that so you guys could know with all this filibustering that he's doing, that he is not answering the question.
And if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now, you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country.
Another lie. Again, he didn't say that they're coming from Africa. He knows he's talking to Africans, Americans, or I like to say Africans in America.
Legally,
People
and
who
they're
are only
taking the
American
vote away
citizens
from
are
all
allowed
of the
to vote,
people
sir.
in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
We already went through that, guys. He has to tell us what a white job is, because he keeps saying the only people who's losing jobs is that we're going to lose is black jobs, Hispanic jobs, right? I want to know what a white job is, and immigrants aren't a threat for white jobs, I guess.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why didn't I?
Why did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I chose him
everybody
because-
out there can, but it's hard
I'll tell
to
you
hear.
why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially.
No, J.D. Vance comes from a privileged family. He hated Donald Trump. He called Donald Trump an idiot. He said Donald Trump's America's Hitler, but Donald Trump gave him a VP pick. So J.D. Vance has just totally just bought and paid for, because he's basically, oh wow, I get to be VP. Like, that's the closest thing you get to be to the presidency. So shoot, he's not principled at all. So he hated Donald Trump. He was a never Trumper, right? But now, here you go. Now he's all for Trump.
Especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually. Did public offerings and other things. And
he did scam fundraising to fundraise for veterans, and he just took that money and used that money for himself. J.D. Vance is a shady individual. He, I don't want to get into the whole J.D. Vance thing. I'll let it play out.
I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family. But he had he's made.
They have a beautiful family. You have people that are in the MAGA group don't like the fact that his wife is Indian, just like Vivek Ramaswamy. They like you, but they don't like you, right? Which is kind of odd, right? And his son is named Vivek. J.D. Vance's son is named Vivek, as ironic as that sounds, right? And all the MAGA people were just going like, "Oh my gosh, he has an Indian woman. How is this person?" Like, you had the same person they were talking about, the white nationalist dude that went to Mar-a-Lago, right? He was saying like, how is he gonna Nick Fuentes was saying, how is he gonna protect white nationalism if you're married to an Indian woman? And I should have put that video there. He's like, and Nick Fuentes was saying, look, it's not just me being racist. Yeah, I'm a racist, but how are you going to protect the sanctity of white nationalists and having more white people having more white babies if you have a white person that is married to an Indian woman? What kind of messaging is that? So that's why he's getting a lot of questions asked about J.D. Vance, because it's based on like J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance was never a Trump supporter. J.D. Vance is not married to a white woman, right? This is just a horrible pick from a MAGA perspective.
Made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator. So Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know it is really hard for me to understand.
It's just I can understand you perfectly.
Because she's closer.
I can understand you.
Wow.
But I can't understand Harris.
I have a few more questions.
I think he's again pointing to the woman in blue that he doesn't like being disrespectful. I can understand you perfectly. Like the disgust and disdain he has for her is just unbelievable. So unprofessional.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him. And for the other candidates too.
He always had great respect for J.D. Vance, that call him America's Hitler, and Trump is an idiot, and Trump is a threat to democracy. And he says some stuff that if he said Trump is a poor man's, I'm paraphrasing here, Trump is a poor man's nightmare, and it's gonna be even worse for black people. But he always respected J.D. Vance, even though J.D. Vance just totally changed his messaging. Like, this man is not making any sense.
But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been, but you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think?
Ooh, nice. That's a one to the gut. Divorced people, like you said. What, Trump's been divorced 2 times, 3 times, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta watch like who who you're talking to. You're making yourself look bad.
A lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
but at
is
least
here.
it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the party,
It was always said in a friendly manner.
the Republican Party, is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But I think it's about.
That is false. That's called murder. And there's a script that MAGA tards keep saying that that Democrats allow abortion in the 9th month. You have Republicans, and before Roe v. Wade was rolled back, were saying, like in really, really deep red states, saying abortion no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's incest, doesn't matter if it's rape. We all heard about the 12-year-old girl. They got raped and she had to go to another state to get an abortion because when it was rolled out, they rolled it back and had to go to another state. And you had some, I'm fair. You had, so when this was in effect, this was happening, and you had some principled Republicans that was like, no, we've gone too far because rape, no matter what, is insane. You have women that don't go full term, and their gynecologists or the doctor would say, well, hey, oh wow, the baby's not going to come to full term, and you have to get rid of the baby. That procedure is an abortion, right? It's called an abortion, but the procedure is the same procedure to get rid of the baby. It's the same procedure you'll do an abortion for, right? Those women, no matter what, they couldn't get an abortion because, again, the state they're in, abortion, no matter what circumstances, to the point where doctors could lose their license. So it's like, wow, I don't want to do that, but if I lose my license, I'm losing my livelihood, right? And they have to go to a different state. And if you don't get, some women you have, and they want you to deliver a dead baby. They want you to come to full term and deliver the dead baby instead of give you that procedure, which is an abortion, to get that baby out of you. And that will let you get sick and die because it's, unfortunately, as sickening as that is, the baby's dead, so it's decaying in you, right? That you could, like, I don't know if you guys ever been with, no, if you're females, I'm very sorry. You women go through a lot. And I just praise and just thank and just thank the Creator for women, right? You ever been with the woman that lost the baby, what she go through, what that does to her mentally, let alone to her body? And when they don't get rid of the dead fetus, the woman can no longer, sometimes in some cases, she can't have a baby again. But this is the pro-life party. So everything he just told you there is a lie. The Republican stance, they roll back Roe v. Wade. They want to, because that was the law of the land. If he gets back in there, he said, "Oh, I'm bringing it back to the states." He was going to make it a federal law because this evangelical base, right, that think that God is pro-life and God this and God that and all this other nonsense, right? God killed. Truth, it is what it is for you Christians. I don't pull punches when it comes to religion and Christianity, right? When it comes to, look, if God is so pro-life, why did he just did the flood? Killed men, women, children, old people, puppies, kittens, butterflies. Give me a break. And then in Egypt, he killed all the firstborn sons. Everything that was the firstborn. So how is God pro-life? Like that's a very poor excuse. There's other things, but I heard there are children watching, so I'm gonna omit from saying that. I'm just saying that is Trump's plan when it comes to Roe v. Wade.
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the
right?
death of a baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that
governor
is
of
illegal in
Virginia.
every state in the
That's
country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
You hear them saying doing that to anywhere in the state is illegal, like killing babies. No matter where you go in the country, that's illegal. So he's lying. We all know that's illegal.
Baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that
governor
is
of
illegal in
Virginia.
every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born.
It's a
They're
crime.
allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well,
of
Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied.
I think they're right. And I
That's
think
the
the
thing.
Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it.
He's lying. That's why they thought there was going to be this big red wave in the midterms, because they're not, Republicans are very bad at reading the room, right? Well, his administration is very bad at leaving the room. Roe v. Wade was very popular. Women's health care, women choosing when about their own body and about their own health, about what is good for them was popular. Freedom is usually popular, in my view, right? Freedom usually not to hurt people. For you as a grown person to make decisions about yourself is freedom, right? Him rolling it back to the states, no one wants that. That's why there's one reason why they lost during the midterms. Notice after the midterms, there was no talk of Roe v. Wade or anything like that, because they thought they was gonna just take over, and that didn't happen. And he rolled back Roe v. Wade before the midterms came around, so they were campaigning on that. Look, we roll back Roe v. Wade. People are like, yeah, I know. Look at the disaster. Y'all saying that it doesn't rape or incest, and some Republicans, they're saying you can't even use contraceptives like the morning after pill, condoms, certain things, like. And I heard they also want to do like artificial insemination. Like, this is the extreme right, and Trump is a part of the extreme right. They're taking away rights. They want small government unless it's in your life when it comes to this.
Everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know.
She's right. That's like what I said.
About this right now. They're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most.
But that's not what he's promoting. This is how you know he's a liar. If he cared about that, right? Or maybe he's just too stupid. Either way, he's incompetent. Even if I give him this benefit of the doubt, he keeps saying it's going back to the states. There are states that says abortion no matter what. So if your stance is, well, except for the 3 exceptions, except for rape, incest, for rape and incest, and the mother's life is in danger. If that's what which I agree with Trump when it comes to that. I agree with that, right? But that's not what you're implementing. If you're going to give it back to the states, you're going to be certain people in certain states that are going to implement those horrible laws, right? So he's a liar. He's just a plain liar.
Most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting. And it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people Some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you.
I want to know who are the people that want that. He's always speaking hyperbole. He's always speaking in generalizations. These people, who are these people? Can you specify who these people are? Those people don't exist. So that's why he talks like that. And for people who are not smart enough to check on what he's saying or who he's saying, and people don't challenge him, I like these ladies, they're challenging him, right? But you can't push back too much because you're going to call them nasty.
Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Yeah, you're mentally more gone. You're mentally more gone. He was going to say, he's supposed to say Navy SEAL, American SEAL. He said American SEALs. He was going to say Venezuela. He said Venezuela. He doesn't finish his sentences. He's just, Joe Biden is gone in a sense due to age and him dramatically slowing down. This dude just has dementia. This dude has dementia. I was on the Dynasty's channel, and I posed this question to the panel, and I was like, "Hey, look, you guys been going on how Joe Biden's old, right? Republicans as well as Democrats said, yeah, Joe Biden's old. Joe Biden's old. We need to get a new person. We need to get a new person, right? Everybody agree. This is, saying it's not a partisan thing. It's a bipartisan agreement that Joe Biden needs to go. Okay, Joe gone. Now that you have Kamala Harris, right? She's in her 50s. Trump is now the oldest person in American history running for president. So with all these gaffes and him with his prosecution, with his rape cases, him just being an all-right criminal and colluding with other people, leaking our secrets, just an embarrassment, an American embarrassment and disaster, right? But keep all that aside. If you're doing ageism, as far as like you're not competent, or you shouldn't be able for running for president to the same standard of Joe Biden, he should leave. They had a fit. How dare you? What is wrong with you? You're wasting your time. We are sticking with Trump. We're sticking with Trump. You're wasting your time. I'm like, oh, so you guys are hypocrites. How are we hypocrites? Because you said Joe Biden should get out just because of his age. Kamala Harris is way younger, and Donald Trump has plenty of gap, way more gaps and mistake than Joe Biden. No, we're sticking with it. So you're gonna see his dishonest answer.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people,
would you consider?
Most people, I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my goodness.
me, and I'm fine.
You hear her say, oh my goodness, keeps attacking her. This is how he is extremely vindictive. He won't let it go. He won't let it go. This man is just a despicable human being. And he's still attacking her. Unprovoked.
Fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't.
He said she was very rude, sir. So I think it was probably a man, hopefully a black man, like checking him like, no, she wasn't. No, she wasn't. Because you hear how the crowd is like, what? No. Yes, she was, sir. So I'm glad we had some upstanding black men there that was defending our women.
That wasn't a question. She didn't ask me a question. She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated your statement, sir, actually.
He doesn't know what a statement and a question is. The question is, why should black people vote for you due to all the things that you said? And she listed things. She said, Why should black people vote for you? You're very nasty. You're a nasty woman, a nasty person.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further.
All right, so wow, I was about to curse. So you need to just walk off the stage. Walk off, kick rocks, long walk, short pier, because you're been gone.
I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well, can
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you,
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to
That's not true.
our country, and her too, what they've done to our country. She has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Don't mean to
Also not true.
interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public?
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested-
how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I do it.
Joe Biden is not running. He's so stuck on Joe Biden. It's Kamala is running. Joe and I could take a test. You see, he's not mentally there. He's not mentally there. He can't move forward, especially obviously with the malicious behavior that he has towards that black woman. But he's still thinking Joe Biden. He's running away from Kamala Harris. You know, he doesn't want to do a debate with Kamala Harris, so he's running. He's absolutely running.
Do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
She failed her law exam. This goes back to where he's lying about the whole DEI. I don't know what DEI is. She failed her law exam, which the bar exam. So he's saying she's a DEI hire. She didn't have to. There wasn't even a DEI bar exam. She just didn't pass the bar exam. You're a POC, aka person of color. We haven't had a person of color as an AG in a long while. Here we go. DEI, equal opportunity employment. Here it's your job. Already racist and sexist. She even didn't pass the bar exam. And then he say he doesn't really know her. He's heard of her in a way indirectly or whatever, but he knows that she didn't pass the bar exam. Again, saying that she is a DEI hire, according to what Republicans think a DEI hire is. She failed the bar exam, even though she was the attorney general. Okay. If you say so, Trump.
Mr. President, are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
To be clear, you don't think Harris?
How do you intend? And
Trump said, "I'm just giving the facts," and the audience is going like ballistic. Like what? He said, "I'm just giving you the facts."
She didn't pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it.
She did pass it.
There's a man over here. I think he must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th.
What the hell? Again, he keeps pointing to the gentleman. I'm saying it's a black man. He's probably yelling, screaming at him like, "Yes, she did. Yes, she did." This is where Trump. It's over, yo. It's over. I think any respectable, independent person or a person that's on the fence, as far as like, well, I mean, he does so much racist stuff already, but this is not going away. And we don't need to let it go away. We need to constantly remind people this may be your moment for Trump showing how racist he is, but we need to show the history of Trump's racism since from the beginning of him and his father not renting to black people, to Mary Trump saying that he said the N-word, nephew recently, Fred Trump the third, saying that he heard his heard Donald Trump saying that he said the N-word all the time. It was like he had like a car and they were living somewhere in Queens and something happened to the car and he started screaming N-words. It must have been the N-words. It was the N-words. So when people tell you who they are, people, what's wrong with believing them? That's what I don't get. When people tell you who they are, why don't we believe them, people? Especially when it's to your detriment. You have a white racist telling you these things that willpower to change your whole reality and way of living in America. And some of us, a segment of us, don't want to believe what is being said.
You called yourself the candidate of law and order. Yeah. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely. Sure. You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones, at least one officer lost an eye, one had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs, another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Here we go. Oh, this person wants attention. So you got Caligenesis, right? He's in the chat right now. Known thief and grifter. What's up? How you doing? Hopefully you'll join the chat afterwards, right? And so I'm just giving him attention. Known thief and grifter, Caligenesis. But yeah, so you got what you wanted. So let's see how Trump answers this question. Let's say he's going to be honest. So far I agree with Trump with 2 things, with the Kamala Harris thing and oh my gosh, oh my gosh, forgot what it was. I'm not going to hold you guys up. So let's see who's going to tell the truth.
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. You'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in...
So he's doing whataboutism. Again, not answering the question because he has to go according to his MAGA Kuun base like Caligenesis and his minions that he hang with, these deplorable people that wants to demonize black people, right? And compare that to January 6th. We all know that the BLM protesters had to do with racial justice, right? To the same cops that are getting off that he wants to give immunity to, but we have deplorable fake black people, right? That has no problem with that at all. They want to not believe what the Orange Menace is saying.
In Portland that destroyed
that city. But sir, my question is on those.
What's going to happen to the people that tried to
those rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just under.
You heard that? She said if they're innocent. She said they've been convicted. Then the crowd started laughing. He's a joke. You're not in your MAGA bubble no more. It's not going to work with upstanding, self-respecting, honest black people. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're not talking to Tim Scott. You're not talking to Byron Donald. You're not talking to Jesse Lee Peterson. You're not talking to Whitlock. You're talking to your everyday, average, upstanding, respectable, self-respectable African American. That's not in your MAGA cult. So we see you coming. So let me play it again.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just under. Well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come?
They were very convicted by a very tough system. That tough system, sir, is called the Constitution. That system, sir, is called the Department of Justice. That system, sir, is the system that has Democrats and Republicans upholding the rule of law that is older than any of us in this in this country. Right? We have, those are the laws that we have been to follow. Those are laws that have been placed in front of us that we have to follow. Our guideline rules, right, of decorum and democracy. That's what you considered a very hard line justice. And I like it. I love that type of justice where people just can't go and just run. You know what? Let me stop.
The people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over
doing whataboutism? That's all they got. It's like these MAGA morons, just they have a playbook. Whataboutism. That's like me saying like, yo, Kofi, I heard you were at the Family Dollar and you stole like a couple of items. Yo, but what about JJ? JJ stole like more than me. How does that exonerate me from stealing? It doesn't exonerate me from stealing. So I don't know where he's going with this argument.
A large percentage of Seattle. How come nothing happened to them? How come the people?
But sir, we're talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
Oh, really? Well,
you would pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting.
No, they didn't shot a young lady out in the face. They shot Ashley Babbitt that breached the Capitol and was screaming and yelling, right, after she got way deep in the Capitol, about to go on the floor with elected officials, but after hitting, beating, trampling on Capitol Police, get to that stage, and that's the last barrier. If you guys seen the video, and they were saying, stand back, they started cursing, we're gonna open the effing door, and we're coming in there, it's our house and stuff like that. That is an existential threat. She was in the military service. She should know what a threat is, right? And she's there with other government officials going on a rampage. And she got shot because she broke the window and she was trying to climb in. So she got shot. That's what happened. She wasn't an innocent person outside with a sign saying, stop the steal, stop the steal. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about those people that were cursing, screaming, and threatening the lives of government officials.
They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle.
Wait, she didn't get shot in the face. Sonia Macy got shot in the face. Interesting.
Nobody died, but people died in Minneapolis. You know, people died in Minneapolis. And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police.
You went to J6 people with a vengeance. You see the disdain he has? You see the disdain he has? Instead of taking a responsibility for, let's say, in his view, was innocent, and he didn't like what they did. He's not demonizing the people that did the Capitol. He's not. He's doing whataboutism and demonizing the people that went after them with a vengeance. What about those BLM guys? What about them? This is who he is, y'all. This is why this is a disaster.
Police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in. What about that? Look, nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis. You have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying. They were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of
lies.
Justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent. because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win.
That's a lie. Donald Trump, when he first was voted in, he never won the popular vote. He only getting through because he had more electoral votes, right? And this was such a bug in his butt so much that during his inauguration, that it was like hardly anybody there. And he lied. I think it was one of his, well, not one of his first lies, but I think his first lie as president, saying that my crowd was bigger than Obama. And if you guys remember about 5 years back, they showed you Obama's crowd and they showed you Trump's crowd. It was just like empty spaces. You could have like 2 football games in the spaces that they have. You know, so he's lying. Trump was never, ever popular electorally. Never. And the numbers show that. So he will have to get that. I think the same thing with George Bush. Republicans' policies are never popular with people, right? It's popular within their own bubble, but it's never popular with people. You know what I'm saying? So they'll talk, oh, we hate gays and blacks and military. Now it's military and women, especially black women, and all these people, and their base go, yeah, white power, or make America great again. You know, same thing. Yeah, but when they're on a national stage, is no, it's not so bad. Women could do this. What's the problem? You could do that. I'm for that. It doesn't work because people see you coming.
We're going to win our cases and we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they want, although in my case, I think they probably will because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before. And it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border, and I do 2 things.
I close the border. Another Republican trope. They're saying that Joe Biden disband ICE and disband border control because he said, I will close the border. The border is not open. That's a lie.
Because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to.
No, that Harris is the Fox News Kuun. So again, he's only concerned about black and brown immigration. White people from Europe could come in, overstay their visa, no problem. There's never an immigration problem per se with white people. Immigration is only a problem when you got Africans coming. So, you know, all the Africans, because Africa is just one big prison. It's an S-hole country, like Donald Trump said, right? And there's nothing but insane in prisons and insane asylums. So, you know, so immigration is only a problem for black and brown people.
To come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down so people can buy.
People, not black people. You had a black forum. Remember, you never answered the question, guys. What you gonna do to make things financially equitable for black people? He never answered the question.
Bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%. Right? She's agreeing to me. Oh,
our grocery bill is 40%. What are you gonna do? Nothing. I'm gonna take things from energy. I'm gonna concentrate on energy. Okay, how's that gonna help us, Trump? You just concentrate on energy. Us going just you don't like alternate power. We don't like wind power. Trump also said that windmills cause cancer and magnets don't work underwater. This is the brain that people say that Trump is a genius. Magnets, it doesn't work underwater. It doesn't, it doesn't work. The sharks and all that other nonsense. What are you going to do for black people? He's not answering the question.
Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against.
Elon Musk pulled his endorsement.
against everybody having an electric car. Okay, I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline propelled car. But you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil under our feet than any other country, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs.
Joe Biden and the administration, they've been using all America's reserves. They have been exporting and drilling more oil than ever before. It's at a height. Is breaking records. You guys can fact check me on that.
And I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump.
You heard that? Someone said Project 2025. Then someone said, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta leave it there. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go." Let me roll it back a little bit. Listen real carefully.
25.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it.
Coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
Coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the.
Coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank
honor.
you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
NABJ will email about.
Hardly anybody clap. Is just cringe. And look at him try to get up.
Details regarding the conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
No one's applauding. Just a disaster. Just a disaster. But it's a beautiful disaster that I like because it really showed you who Trump really is as a person. It really showed you who Trump really is as a person. What's up, Forecast? It shows you who Trump really is as a person. Like going in on black people like that. Going in on black women. I'm sorry, going in on black women like that. And that one brother that was keep speaking, he kept challenging Trump off the scenes. I wish we get some audio on him about him, just standing up, for those two black women, because Trump loved the other Fox News contributor because she's a coon for him or whatever. But our next segment is basically, I'm going to show you a couple things. So I'm going to show you the aftermath, Trump's aftermath of all of the that was said like the next day. So I'm going to show you his tweets.
For the National Association of Black Journalists, Donald Trump was racist. He was weird. He was xenophobic. He showed that he had no clue what was even going on. And because he was asked some tough questions, mostly by the ABC reporter who was there, Rachel Scott, Donald Trump's now lashing out on social media. Frankly, the way he was on stage, when he was being asked normal questions, he would respond, "That's the most unfair. You're not being nice to me." I mean, grow up. For real, you weirdo, grow up. Here's what Donald Trump's posting. It's post. I'm only going to show you a handful of these posts, but this is all he's doing right now. He goes, ABC fake news, one of the worst in America. And then he reposts Amber Rose, an OnlyFans model who does these weird Bitcoin crypto things. By the way, Donald Trump selling a Bitcoin sneaker. Amber Rose changed her entire personality over the past 2 years as well. She previously said that she would be supportive of the Satanist view regarding women's reproductive rights because at least it gives women an opportunity to get abortion care, and now supports Trump. You can't make sense of what it is that she says.
Yeah, and Amber Rose, again, a disastrous pick at the Republican National Convention because Amber Rose is popular for sleeping with rappers. Amber Rose is only popular. She did the slut walk. all these are not conservative views. All these things are not conservative ideas. But she's a political prop. She's a black political prop to show you that, hey, look, a black person or a racially ambiguous black person, well, they don't care if you're racially ambiguous. They still see you black. Moon, they hear black. Oh, you're black. I don't care what your mother or your father is. One of you's black. So you're black. You're black. Right? Using her as a political prop, just like how they use Byron Donald, how they use Tim Scott, how they use Kanye West. These are just political props, right? And that was just disastrous. She's showing Amber Rose do that because she's getting a bag off of this or whatever. So these are just black people for hire, which obviously has no dignity. So this is their new hustle.
Thank you, Amber. Because Amber Rose goes, President Trump is absolutely crushing this interview with the National Association of Black Journalists. Objectively, he was the worst. Then he keeps reposting people who have to be nice to him. This is like Kim Jong-un level stuff right here. This is strange stuff. Thank you, Leo. Is this account Leo Terrell goes, Trump got his message out and the Democrats are angry. Great job, Mr. President. Then Donald Trump writes, the questions were rude and nasty, often in a form of a statement, but we crushed it! Exclamation point. And then Trump's campaign.
Trump said he crushed it. I'm glad he thinks that. I'm kind of glad he thinks that, because it shows that he's just totally self-unaware of the damage that he caused. And he's going to keep continuously putting his foot in his mouth, and regular, normal, average, everyday people gonna see that, and you just see him self-destruct every time he's put in front of black people and black women that are not a part of his MAGA cult.
Campaign put out a statement. Trump campaign statement on liberal mainstream media malpractice. Trump has continually said that unlike Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, he's running for all Americans. And if you're running to unite the country, you have to back it up with action. Members of the media need to make a decision and answer if their goal is to unite the country or further divide us. Because based on the unhinged and unprofessional commentary directed toward Trump today by certain members of the media, many media elites clearly want to see us remain divided. This is unacceptable. Okay. Just more whining from them. The questions were very normal questions. You've made racist and hateful statements. Rachel Scott, was quoting you.
Yeah, so I basically want to show you just that. I mean, this is a good network. These guys are pretty honest. They kind of, only thing I don't like about them, they were just heavily pro Biden. They were a little honest. They were kind of honest towards the end or whatever, but they're just heavily pro Biden, and they're not really as critical of Joe Biden. But besides that and the war in Israel, their journalism is good and on point, and they do a lot of news breaking stories that other people end up following them, right? So they're pretty good, right? So we have that. So finally, people, children, especially the little ones, get the kids out the room, because we're about to bring up the fake Pan-African known as Brandon. Again, in this time, I call this the death of fake Pan-Africanism, mask off, because Brandon always runs. He promotes himself as a Pan-African all the time. He promotes himself as a Pan-African all the time. But he's politically a white American conservative, right? And he will go on lives and I mean, he doesn't have a job. He'll be on if he has to be on 7-8 hours a day, he'll be on 7-8 hours a day, right? He'll be on during Father's Day. I'm like, what the hell is Father's Day? You doing a 4 or 5 hour live? God damn! I'm like, you're supposed to have a kid. Well, he has a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Father's Day, I'm chilling. I'm like in Atlantic City with my wife and my children. We having brunch. We doing it up, going on the beach, and hearing this dude whining and complaining. It's sad. If you saw at the beginning of this video, I play something where he has his MAGA hat on. So most of the times he'll say his views, and I'll say, bro, where's your MAGA hat on? Because that's how you grifting as a Pan-African. You're a fake Pan-African. Because if you were a real die-hard MAGA dude, you will wear a MAGA hat. This is his first time wearing a MAGA hat, right? I think he did another live the next day and he took it off, right? But this is his first time wearing a MAGA hat. That's why I'm saying this is the end of a fake Pan-African, because we all know that American European conservatism is the total opposite, right, of African cultural spirituality and political stance. We all know that. That's just rudimentary. If you don't know that, you probably need to get refamiliarize yourself with Pan-Africanism or just what pro-black is. Is very self-explanatory. In my view, if you guys want me to explain what that is, no problem, but not now. But put a message in the chat if you want me to do a show about it. But again, kids, I need you to this and people, because what he's gonna say is totally disgusting. It's sickening what he's saying about black women. He's generalizing, but this Liz woman triggered him, and again, Brandon needs a hug. He went through a lot of trauma growing up. He's typical. I'm not saying that for those of you that may be new to this. He is a typical walking stereotype. What I'm about to say right now is things that he has shared in his channel over the years numerous of times. He is a black American that was raised in California. His mother was on welfare. His mother was, according to him, a welfare queen. Didn't want to do anything. Didn't want to work. Was bad with money. His father is in jail for murder, so he didn't have a father growing up with him. He had uncles that was pimps. He had aunts and sisters and cousins that sold themselves into, that sold their body for sex, was irresponsible they did abortions like it was like a contraceptive. All these things,
He said, I have too much.
He was a gangbanger. Any negative thing that people attribute to black culture, he lived it or living it. So he has a very, very horrible outlook at black people. So he's not gonna see black people in a favorable way. And in my view, that's why he is a Republican. So Republicans have that same view of what a black person is. A black person is inherently criminal. A black person is inherently stupid. A black person is a welfare queen. A black person needs to get shot by the cops, or police brutality is okay because black people, again, are criminals and violent. They're in gangs. I was in a gang. So blah, blah, blah. So if you've grown up and that's your reality, right? No one could tell you different, because you talking about a lived experience. And I'm not taking that away from him. His problem is that you're putting your experience on all black people. All black people growing up that way. All black people will have a father that's in jail. All black people have a mother that was on welfare. All black people has a cousin that was a pimp. All black youth was a part of a gang. All black people try to steal. That's not true, right? And for him to say these things and promote that, you know what? I'm just saying that for those of you who may not know who Brandon is and where all this is coming from. Because after you hear this, you can be like, oh my God, why is he saying that? At the end, to physically threaten to specifically kick a black woman in the behind because she just disagrees with his stance politically and his commentary of what we just saw. So again, people, just brace yourself. Again, unfortunately, he is one of us, but hey, he is one of us. So hold on, let me just get the timestamp. And brace yourself.
When Trump reveals who's truly disrespectful towards the black community. He said, I have too much respect for you to be late. But the people who get up here claiming to represent you, they're late. They don't even have the respect for you to be on time and to have the equipment working properly. And how many times do we see that in the black community? The main
Remember, these are political commentators. They're not the sound engineers. But again, he doesn't have a mind of his own, even without the MAGA hat, is frying his brain. Trump ideas fry his brain, but it's even frying his brain even more because he got that tight made in China, Taiwan MAGA hat on. Make America great again, right? That he's following what Trump said about, it's your fault. When we all know it's probably the sound engineer or the equipment's bad. But he's going to attribute that to all black people.
Niggas talking about we need to stick together, constantly disrespecting their own community. Go in a black restaurant. The white man who owns black people, black women, they'll complain about somebody taking the Cheesecake Factory on the first date. You know what's funny though? If you took them to a black restaurant, as a matter of fact, they won't even walk into a black-owned establishment for a first date. Because you go to the black restaurant, the Soul Food Shack and all that, the seats is all cracked. They're using the same old-ass Coca-Cola, the red Coca-Cola cups that came out in the 1984 Olympics. The floors is dirty. The waitresses is rude and fat and overweight and gelatinous. Don't even pay attention.
So he's body shaming them, calling them fat and gelatinous and overweight. He's like 5'3", fat and gelatinous and overweight. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. But again, he's blaming. Again, he found it. So he's supposed to be a Pan-African, and so economically, you're supposed to patronize your own black businesses. He's saying don't do it because black women, not black people. The men are fine, according to him. Black women don't respect the black community. And when black women have a business, like a soul food restaurant, cups from the 1984 Olympics and yada, 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 yada.
You don't come to refill your water, nothing. Because that shows you that's the level of black respect that black people think other black people deserve. And when you look at this National Association of Black Journalists, they're operating under the same type of mindset. Damn, we didn't call the former president of the United States of America the front runner over here, and whatever black woman, because it's a black woman who was in charge of organizing this mess. She couldn't even make sure that the equipment was working properly. She couldn't even make sure that they got started. You're right. I'm not coming up. I just want to know if you're okay with a man talking to your female family members like that. Hell yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with them knocking their ass out too if they try to attack them or hit them or hurt them.
See, he's okay. And that's why I said what I said. He's okay, Mr. Pan-African, okay with a man knocking women out. I don't want to curse or whatever. Knocking them upside their head. He's fine with that. That's okay. Especially if they want to attack him. These women haven't attacked Donald Trump physically at all. If you want to call it a verbal attack, fine. That's your opinion. But even if it's a verbal attack, he says he has no problem with his own family members of Donald Trump, of Mr. So-called Pan-African, causing physical bodily harm to black women. But that's why I gave you guys this story about who he is and what his world is. He has no respect for black women. He has disdain for black women because a black woman raised him, and as he got of age and known that she did a bad job, and then you seeing your uncle and your aunts, and again, this walking stereotype, you're going to have disdain for these people. So Donald Trump is his white hope, is his white answer, right? This is why he's saying these. This is why he's saying these things. This is why he's saying these things.
It's out too if they try to attack him or hit him or hurt him. What do you think? Because it's my family member, that's what women do. Be totally selective and hypocritical with their positions. Men don't do that, except for the emasculated sons that you're raising. Those are the men who do that. Real men don't flip-flop on a position just because hey, I'm just asking. You can't get me, baby. I'm not the nigga that's fucking you. I don't care what you think. I'm not obligated to kiss your ass, and I never will. Yes, I would support him if he did it. I would support him if he did it to you. Because black women need to be held to the same standard that everyone else is held to. It's been too long in this country where black women get a pass for every damn ridiculous thing they do, and I don't even know why they're getting a pass.
What pass are black women getting? You don't understand. Black women, they're a double minority. You're black and you're a woman. For those you don't know, this is how the hierarchy is in this country, right? It's race first. It's always race. It's race, gender, and class. Race, gender, and class. Before those are the roadblocks. If you're a white male, the doors is open. If you're a white female, it's open, but you're still gonna get a little chastised. There's still gonna be roadblocks there for you as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because women didn't have all the rights. White women didn't have all the rights of a white man, right? So boom. So you got race, you got gender, right? Okay, class, your economic status, who you are, what you are. That also depends, right? Color, race. Now your race is like, whoa. All the doors is closed now. Because remember, this country is for white males. So okay, fine. I let my white counterpart, be next to me. Okay, my white counterpart. Oh, and she has money. So that's class. That's class. Oh, so she's a woman and she has money, or he's a white man and he has money. Oh, even better. But they will always keep black people out. They will always keep black people out, right? So what he's saying is right here. I don't understand where are people turned a blind eye to black women just doing whatever they want. Did Sonia Massey just did whatever she want? Did Sandra Bland just did whatever she want? Did Breonna Taylor just did whatever she want? So where are these black women getting a pass?
Why are they getting a pass? What contribution are they making to society to where they get a pass and they get away with things no one else could get away with?
What are those things, Pedo, Boochie Bare? And guys, I call him Pedo Boochie Bare is because that he has no problem with Donald Trump walking in on teenage girls. And we all know that Donald Trump, try to, because he's on the Epstein list, he likes little children. So Donald Trump has no problem with that. So for those who don't know, I'm gonna remind you. Right? There's Donald Trump with a whole bunch of teenage girls. Right? He sees that, he has no problem with that. Right? He has no problem with that, right? These are teenagers. We're not talking like 17, 18. We're talking like 14, 15. This is what we're talking about. We know he's on Donald Trump's on the Epstein list. We got the receipts. We got him saying that he wanted to get massages.
Pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro. Hey, they hired him to judge it, and guess what?
Did you see the diary?
But Trump is not a pedophile judging real pageants walking in on them. Like, give me a fucking break.
Hey, bro. Hey, they hired him to judge it, and guess what?
They hired him to judge. That was his response to when I asked him, like, hey, look, Trump was walked in on little girls during a beauty pageant, and his answer was, hey, they asked him, they asked him to judge it. Like, what you want him to do, man? Like, they asked the man to judge a teenage beauty pageant. You expect them not to do some pedophile stuff? Come on, man, be fair. This is the type of person who who we're dealing with right now. Right? This is the mentality of the person of who we're dealing right now. So guys, don't feel like, for those of you who feel like, oh, I'm just dog pounding. No, this is, and he has not retracted that statement. Right? In fact, when I put that up it's in my video section on my channel, he still left it. He said, oh, no one sees this channel. You got a little channel, you got a small channel. No one, I don't care about that shit. Da, 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 da. That's what he said. He didn't say, oh my gosh, Kofi, like, come on, man, I spoke out of turn, man. Like, come on, I don't believe that. No, that's what he believes. He doesn't care about it because I don't have a couple 100,000 subscribers, so it's not going to get out and destroy his grifting platform, right? But Ditso, I see you in the back, man. So just stay back there for like a little bit. I'm about to bring this home, and whoever wants to come in, I'll let them in. Let me just get through this.
Those days are over for you, and they never existed as far as I'm concerned. Because I know the truth about you. You bleed for 7 days like everybody else. You wake up in the morning rolling over with your breath stinking like everybody else. You put on 15 layers of makeup to try to look white in a European style wig, but try to tell everybody about how they disrespecting you. The number one disrespecter of the black woman is a black woman. And it's time for us to say that and acknowledge it. You got your ass up there and played a stupid game. You deserve President Johnson, who said, I'll have these niggers voting Democrat for the next 50 years. See, she's arguing with him. She's not there to interview. She's there to debate. But baby, if you was qualified to debate this man, you would be running for president, wouldn't you? That's not journalism. What I'm doing right now is not journalism. This is opinion. But I'm smart enough to understand that. Better than Johnson? Yes. Donald Trump is a 1,000% better president than Lyndon Johnson.
You guys heard that, right? So what civil rights did Trump give that's way more and much better than Lyndon B. Johnson? Trump is on there right now. He's getting asked, why are you here? What do you do for black people? And he did not answer the question. It means that he ain't giving nothing to black people. Oh, we're going to concentrate on energy. Inflation is crazy. What are you doing for black people? He did not answer that. But Pedo Boochie Bare here doesn't care about that because he's in a cult, and whatever his orange God says goes. He has to defend him.
Who couldn't even get a second term, had to step down because he ran the country so horribly. She literally is arguing with the former president of the United States, and not a single person was like, hey, you doing a lot right now.
How, again, guys, we saw it, right? We saw already. She was kind. She was cordial. She said, how you doing, Mr. President? He said, how you doing, Mr. President? Mr. President, Donald Trump said hi to this person, said hi to that person. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for being here. All the cordial. Let's get right into it. We all know that Donald Trump just did not like the questioning, right? Because all of Black America, every upstanding Black American that has self-respect for himself knows that all the things that woman said is what's on our minds and how you respond to that. And what was his response? You're nasty. And kept attacking her for the duration of the last 30 minutes, unprovoked.
You doing a lot right now. Yeah, Liz, leave me to it. I'm gonna give you the attention that you wanted. I gave you look, you wanted it, I gave it to you, and you can't handle it because you're too weak-minded. You can say something, but you can't handle the response because you didn't want to answer to the question. I'll leave you to it. Like, that's gonna hurt me. Who cares if you leave? If you never watch this channel again, I wouldn't give a damn. But that's the Black woman. She thinks she's the center of the universe. Because you guys keep telling these heifers, you're God and shit. You're not God. I will kick you right in the crack of your ass. And that's the Black woman. She thinks she's the center of the universe. Because you guys keep telling these heifers, you're God and shit. You're not God. I will kick you right in the crack of your ass. And not even.
We keep telling our Black women that she's God. That's our problem. Someone who gives life, does a godlike act, by giving life, carrying life. And then after giving birth to you, nurture you, nurse you. That's a godlike act. That's an African godlike act. We see our mothers, we revere our mothers, we revere our elders. Because why? Because they are the life givers. They are the ones that increases your tribe. They're the ones that and he's a Pan-African. That's why I say this is the end of fake Pan-Africanism. He threatened her that he's going to cause physical harm on her, all because she disagrees with his stance. And he's going ballistic over it by actually physically saying he's going to physically hurt her. Physically hurt her because he doesn't agree with her stance.
Your ass. And not even feel bad about it. Treat women, keep telling these heifers, you're God and shit. You're not God. I will kick you right in the crack of your ass. And not even feel bad about it.
And he wouldn't feel bad about it.
Treat women how they act. According to how they act. Just
according to how they act. So his message as a Pan-African and a black man is, if you disagree with the woman and she's acting the way you don't act, you should kick her in the crack of her ass. And don't feel bad about it. His words, not mine. All to protect an orange, Nazi-loving, woman-hating, black woman-hating racist. This is who he's defending. And who he's attacking are other black women. Donald Trump gave him an industrial battery in his back to go attack black women. And he has to take it to the next level. See, he wants to be on Fox News. He wants to be the next Anton Daniels. He wants to be the next Jesse Lee Peterson. He wants to be the next Tim Scott. He wants to be the next Whitlock. So this is what he has to do. People, do not be surprised if he comes on Fox News, because he is viciously attacking black women, saying that he's going to cause physical harm to them because he doesn't agree with their political stance or his synopsis on Trump being obviously racist and sexist. He will kick them in the crack of their ass and don't feel bad about it.
just like you treat men according to how they act. You guys know how I feel about sacred cows. There are no sacred cows.
There are no sacred cows, but he's protecting the orange cow.
There's men and there's women and there's children. And according to how they act, that is how they should be treated. Would you approve of him talking to one of your female family members? Would you approve of a woman having sex with 10 dudes in one day?
This is confession of his family, right? Because he doesn't know Liz, right? He doesn't know Liz. So all these despicable Tyler Perry situations and just the most despicable things you could say about a person and a family and a group of people, this is his lived experience, and he's putting that on other people. So already he's probably talking about his mother or some females in his family. And we got some of his followers that don't like when I say the things that we all know, right? Talking about you, Aunt. Where you at? Well, Mr. So-called Shaka Zulu. Like, I'm still waiting for you to come up, but whatever. So this is him describing his family members.
Because y'all approve of that. Y'all support it. Y'all actually celebrate it.
That would be Amber Rose with the slut walk, right? It's okay to be a slut and everything. Donald Trump loves her. I just showed you guys that. Amber Rose was sticking up for him. Oh, you knocked it out the park, Donald Trump. Amber Rose is for promiscuity, right? So, and she's a black woman, right? You see how he's just talking out of his behind, and he's going against what his Orange King is even saying and promoting.
A garbage ass moral argument based on nothing. Do you approve of women aborting children like they freaking buying candy at a store? Yeah, you do. Because that's what the person you're going to vote for approves of, Liz. I swear, I love when women, black women especially, I love when they try to come to me with this like moral superiority when they're really nothing but baby murderers and prostitutes. No prostitute baby murderer can try to claim moral high ground on me. You can't.
All right, that's enough, people. I'm sorry. You had to hear that despicable, disgusting display of what someone who claims to be a man, but these are Donald Trump's followers. These are what Donald Trump's followers. He saw what Donald Trump was doing to black women. So as a good coon, he had to like, nah, hold my beer. This is how you do it, Mr. Trump. I know you can't do it like that, Mr. Trump, but I could do it like this, Mr. Trump. I'm going to show you how. Right? You guys see me on Fox News? Look what I'm about to do. You see me, Anton? Look what I'm about to do. Look what I'm about to do, guys. Look what I'm about to do. What's up, brother McCarvey?
What's going on, my brother? From another. What's going on, man?
Doing good. I just feel like vomiting after listening to Brandon, man. I'm just nauseous.
Yeah, that's why I don't listen. It ain't gonna make me vomit. That's why. The sad thing is, man, he have people over there, and they be agreeing with it. But
Yep.
I turned him off a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
Like there's no need, and there's no need to call Shaka Zulu. He ain't gonna come up here. He's scared I might be over here.
Yo, I think I know, dude. We grew up in the same area. We like the same age. He sounds crazy familiar. I think I know, dude. If I see dude, I'm like, yo, I know you. You know what I'm saying? But again, you're right. There are people that agree with that, and I don't. And the thing about it is, like, if you agree with that, that's fine. The problem that I have is that they're convinced that no, I love black people. I'm pro-black. I'm like, how does that work? You just say you kick a woman and crack her ass because you don't like the commentary of her citing of how he was treating black women, and he's like, you're gonna treat them how they act. And again, Shaka Zulu get mad. We all know this. Like, this is a representation of how he grew up. He's telling he don't know that woman. He's saying this is what you do, and this is what you black women doing. I do not look. My grandmother has 9 children, right? 4 girls. I never seen any of my aunts did anything remotely similar to what he is saying. My aunts are professional women. They're doctors, right? I never see them do. Why would he put that on that black woman? Because he thinks all the black women in my world, this is what they do.
Yeah, you know what? So I try not to say go to for, like I said, I turned them off, man.
Yeah, I'm not subscribed to him. I check him out every now and again. I unsubscribe to Dinus. I unsubscribe to Brandon. I like, nah, I'm not doing it.
You're not the only one. I unsubscribed from Dinus a long time ago when I heard him get mad with somebody who come in his chat and put their channel in his chat and say, y'all check me out. I'll kick you out my chat if you ever do that again. Don't come over here promoting no channel in my chat. Only my channel.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know. I look. Dude built this channel up, going in on Tariq, saying some truth about Tariq and Dan Calloway, but now he didn't show his true colors, man. And it's sad, man. It is what it is. And the sad thing about it is when he told you your channel is don't nobody watch you, you got a small channel, right?
Yeah.
So people like that really think YouTube means something. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll talk about what he's doing in Kenya, whatever he's doing in Kenya. That's cool.
Not much. He's not doing nothing much, really.
But I don't worry about him. But I wanted to talk about when you was talking earlier. You was talking about Kamala. I mean, however folks say her name. Shit, forgive
Yeah.
me. I say Kamala. But anyway, I was gonna do a video tonight talking about the lies that black people have told, the lies being told on this woman on social media for no reason. And I was listening to you when you said, when you was talking about, because I hadn't read about her. She say she was raised as a black girl. I seen pictures of her when she was younger. You could tell she kind of had embraced the black culture. She was looking like a young. If you had seen her and she don't tell you that one parent is Indian, really you would know. See, this is when you ever heard of Dr. Vilu anomaly.
I think so. Yes.
See, this is when
dark skin Indian guy, right?
that always talked about his African heritage and talked about when you said earlier about they are like cousins. He talked about always talked about his African heritage in India. The African heritage in India, ancient African heritage. If you look at them, a lot of times they resemble Ethiopians, right?
Yeah, they do.
And he said the reason they resemble Ethiopians because they were the first ones in India. He said those are their ancestors. Now this coming from Dr. Vilu Anomaly. He's dead now, but you can still listen to some of his. I want to say he was assassinated because he was starting a movement, the black or with black Indians. They would start. They had started. A lot of them had started calling themselves Afro Indian, for real. Because he was like, they know. So when I listen to Dr. Vilu and I see Kamala Harris, mama, and then I see Kamala Harris, according to Dr. Vilu, she's a black woman.
Yeah.
And not a mixed black woman. She's a black woman from India who have of course they won't, of course over time things change, but have old ancient African heritage, right?
Yeah.
Who her father was an Afro-Jamaican. So now people spreading the lies and well, he's white Irish, he's an Irish and
Oh, that Joe Brown nonsense.
Drunk Joe Brown, yes. So now, and people is rolling with that. So as I was going through some articles, I think I sent you an article. I don't know if you read it or not. I think I emailed it to you. So when you was talking about the programs and you said you heard about some of the programs she had, right?
Yeah.
Actually, what I did was I read it. I have a few articles because I'm gonna do a show. I have a few articles.
Good.
So one of the program when you was talking about going to jail. Now, 1,956 people were convicted. 45 went to jail. Now, you know they saying, so these was nonviolent offenders, first time nonviolent offenders, most of them, and for marijuana, right? So if she was convicting black people, just hear me out. I want you to just make sure we understand what I'm saying. If she was convicting black people for marijuana, selling marijuana, right? So that means the organization that she built, giving people community service, giving them job training. And once they finish that, they get a certificate of completion and their record is expunged. Don't that mean she's helping black people then?
Yeah.
So if she sent them to jail,
that's what I said. That's what I said. So it depends.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. So I thought I sent you that article, but
I'm sorry. I probably didn't catch it. You probably did. I probably didn't check.
I think I emailed it, but I got a few of them. So then what they say is how she was taking black parents to jail for truancy. How is it their fault? And you heard that, right? Because the kids weren't going to school. So and you go through and you read the article. The only parents she messed with was parents of kids of grade school age who had missed multiple days, like 30 days in a row, unexcused.
Oh, wow.
Those were the parents. And she didn't keep them locked up. She helped, I have to go through, I forget the organization, but she had an organization to help them and help those parents get job training. Yes.
Sorry about that.
No, you good. And when you read through and you go through all of this stuff, you realize this woman have not had no problems with black people. I've heard black people talk about she supported the crime bill, right? She believed in being tough on crime, right?
Yeah.
That is not true. That is not true. Progressive don't they don't like her because she said the crime bill was too tough and it needs to be loosened up because there was a certain group of people that's being punished too harshly.
You need to really show me that, because that's why I showed you the clip on 2006 of her on Tavis Smiley. Like she was on there. She's a part of a black panel, and I saw that in 2006 on State of the Black Union. I didn't know who she is. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not in California. I wasn't really following politics like that. But I didn't say, who's that Indian woman there? She's black.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? No one said, who's that Indian woman there? I didn't say, why this Indian woman's talking? No one said that, right? And she was saying, we black people, and this is what I did. So she was saying a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's like her record at least is mixed, what I was saying, for the little that I do know. I was really looking forward to go on your program. The little that I do know.
I'll send you some more. Can you check your email while we on here?
Yeah.
Check your email and see if you got it. Because I said, man, we have to do a panel about this. I think I only sent you one, but I have like three different police hated her. You know why the police hate her? The first thing she did when she got in, it was a guy doing life in jail without the possibility of parole for murder of a cop. Said he was innocent. She was DA. They like prosecutors or some shit, right?
Yeah.
She went in, felt this man was innocent, and fought so this black man could have his proof brought to court that he was innocent and show he was innocent in freedom. That was the first thing she did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the first thing. That was the first thing. That was the first thing she did. When you read these articles and you look at her record, she don't have to say, I'm doing this for black people. I see what she was doing and I know who it helped. Her repeat offenders rate. Told you about the programs, right?
Yeah.
Before she came in, repeat offenders rate was 50%. Under her, repeat offenders of black was 10%.
Oh, wow.
10%. That's it.
Oh, wow. That's yeah, you got to show me. You got to show me that. And the thing is with Democrats, I mean, she's better with it. Is their message? Even Joe Biden, like this things. Yeah. You sent me too, brother. Yeah, you did send it to me.
You go through and read them. I got a couple of more. Go through and read them, and you would see, like, damn, if this is what black people was complaining about, that means her organizations and everything help black people.
Yeah, I did not know you. So you have a article here. It's called the Marshall Project. What these decisions tell us about Kamala Harris' approach to criminal justice. Right. So yeah. So hold on. Let me see if I could. I was gonna share this. I think it was in my YouTube about Dr. Vishnu. They was talking about how I think he's in this video about how he's saying how like oh man, the name of the river, they have the river, the Ganges River, right, is similar to the Nile. And there's certain, I learned this a while back, I gotta refresh myself, but the religious practices of the Egyptians is extremely similar to religious practices of the people of the Indus Valley, right? And I think he said there's a river they have in India that's named, it has an African name, and people think it's an Indian name, but it's really it's an African name. When you look at it linguistically, it's an African name. So he was showing like a lot of similarity. I'm not sure if this is it though. But
now, people say she's Brahma, right? A Brahma Indian. Now, according to Dr. Vilu, I'm gonna have to look in this more. She's a dark-skinned Brahma called Tamil. According to Dr. Vilu, the Indians, that her mother skin tone, like Dr. Vilu, they were at the bottom. Dr. Vilu talked about how fortunate people here. Like, do you ever truly see dark-skinned Indians owning stores and stuff?
Brother, I'm Guyanese. I have a cousin.
Oh well, you
My
might.
uncle's
Okay,
black.
you was in the you from the island, so you
Yeah,
might.
yeah. His uncle,
But
my uncle, his wife. My uncle is black. His wife is woo. It's like Brandon's complexion. She's a
now,
dark-skinned Indian.
now according to Dr. Vilu, what caused all the problem was Gandhi because he wanted to be white. So that's who created, according to him, he said the caste system wasn't always there, but that who started to push it extremely
No, but
hard.
wasn't there? It was always a caste system in
But he
India around that
but
time.
but he say that's who pushed it really hard
Okay. Because he
was
was from a low caste in India.
yeah, because he
He was
talk about how
untouchable.
lucky, because he say how lucky he was to get out. See, that's why I'm saying I don't believe Kamala is a Brahma Indian like people say. I'm gonna her mama is her mama from Jamaica?
No, the father's from Jamaica, the mother's Indian.
No, I'm saying, but is she from Jamaica though?
Who?
Her mother. Where did they meet at? The mom
Canada.
and
I think it was
dad.
Canada.
Okay, they met in Canada. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But I know Dr. Vilu talk about how lucky it was he got out of India. And he also talked about he understand why African Americans feel the way they feel about Indian people because of the way they're treated. I listened to a lot of his lectures because of the way they're treated when they go in the stores and they put all of that on Indians, and he say he understand. So his job, he say his mission was to show that we're related. He's not an African American, but he
Yeah.
has old African blood from Ethiopia.
But on Kamala's birth certificate, this is why they say that, Bakari. On Kamala's birth certificate, there's some fake birth certificates out there. I kind of had to go through the motions and go through everything. On her birth certificate, it says her father, whether it says race, it doesn't tell you the race of the child. It doesn't tell you the race of the parents. So some people have some false birth certificates of Kamala Harris saying, oh, look, the race. The race for her father says Jamaican, and the race of her mother says Caucasian.
Race is not a Jamaican is not a race though.
She was born in 1964. So I'm just telling you what it said in San Francisco, California. Let's see if I can pull up real quick and show everybody that's what it was. And you gotta understand, certain places in this country, depending on what state, you should know way better than me. It will have colored in certain states.
Yeah.
And like, what does colored mean? Colored, you could be all color means that you're not black, but it doesn't mean you're black. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's that. So let's put it like people in certain Indians from my country in Ghana, they know they are from India. So in my country, some of them, knowing that they're from India, some of them would be Hindu, right? Some of them would be Christian, and then some of them would be Muslim, right? So if you go,
let me ask you a question before you continue. Hindu is a religion, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Hindu is a religion, yeah, or Hinduism, right? And if you go to a quote unquote place in Queens like Richmond Hill or someplace like that, is a heavily Indian community. You could tell by the religion, by the certain decorations that they have or certain flags that they will have on there, because it's an Indian custom that they have. But I'm saying that to say that it's not a real black or white thing when it comes to them, because they're not a real monolith. But you do have some Indians that are very racist towards black people. And just because I
That's
have
what Dr.
Indians
Belu
in my
say.
family, I'm not the person that's gonna say, oh, they're not racist. My cousin's half Indian. I got cousins that's half Indian. Yeah, but them motherfuckers will still be racist. You know what I'm saying? And they know this is a Guyanese guy that's at my job. He's like Wesley Snipes black. He's a shade lighter than Wesley Snipes. Let's say that. Yeah, he's like a shade or two maybe than Wesley Snipes or Whoopi Goldberg. He's not that far off. He doesn't like the way he looks, really, by my interaction with him. So one time he told a bunch of white people that don't know nothing. They came to me. It was like, yo, Kofi, you from Ghana, right? I was like, yeah. He says, what's his name's going to turn around back in his country, he's treated like a white man. I'm like, if you don't get the fuck out of here with that. In Guyana, no, because they still kind of have like a colorism thing, right? In India, definitely not. Brother Bakari, you're like a Drake compared to him. And Brother Bakari, you're kind of like my complexion, like a lighter brown skin. He is midnight. He's Brahma. You know what I'm saying? So people knowing that there's a caste system in India, and if they saw the birth certificate, oh, Kamala was raised white because she wasn't raised by her father. But like you said, there's a lot of things that I've seen that she's very mixed, right? And me just being honest. So that's why I say I kind of agree with Donald Trump, because it depends, when did you get familiar with Kamala Harris? When she was Indian, or you saw the Tavis Smiley thing? Like it's mixed. You see what I'm saying? With me, with her, it's mixed. But
yeah,
look,
I got you.
Yeah.
I understand, but like I said, if you see pictures, I'm gonna see if I can find one of them.
No, I saw pictures of her when she was going to Howard, and she was in my wife's cousin. She's a part of that fraternity. I'm very familiar with that fraternity. It's a black fraternity.
AKA,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, AKA, right? You go to her house, all you see is AKA pink and green all over the goddamn place. It's on her car or whatever. So I'm familiar with the fraternity. But again, not questioning her blind. People say, well, look at the fraternity. She went to HBCU. And years ago, it was brought to my attention. Well, not really brought to my, because I really thought about it. Was like, anybody could be a part of HBCU. You can have I think I had a picture. I was going
but
to
not
one of my
back then,
videos.
though. Not back then. Anybody didn't go to no HBCU back then. No. This is new. Trust me.
Okay.
If you want to know my experience and what I with HBCU, I can explain that to you too. But no, anybody did not go to an HBCU.
So you weren't accepting white people, because then they'll do the whole reverse racism thing.
It was not that wouldn't accepting them. Wouldn't nobody going. They didn't go. Nobody went to. Let me tell you, when black people, when they start reaching out to other races to come to HBCUs, when rule come out that a school had to be certain, like they have to be a certain amount non-black in order to get government funding. But nobody was going to. Back then, when Kamala went to HBCU,
yeah,
nah, wouldn't nobody going to no HBCU but black folks, bro.
Okay.
Nobody going to HBCU, but black folk.
Okay, all right. So that's good. I'm glad you set me straight with that. I'm glad you set me straight with that. But
She went to school in the 80s.
Yeah, here's the article that you sent me. Right, I'll read through it quick because we're at the 3-hour mark right now. I don't want it to be too long. So I'll read through it. So let me just read the little synopsis here. So it says this is on the Marshall Project closing argument letter, a weekly deep dive into a key criminal justice issue, one to deliver to your inbox. No. After Vice President Kaiser quickly ascended to the top of the 2024 Democrat ticket, a torrent of news, analysis, and commentary on her prosecutorial career has followed. Last week on my colleague Nicandra Chivas, whatever, and I shared some key elements of Harris' record on criminal justice issues. This week I am diving a bit deeper on some cases and programs that define her time as San Francisco District Attorney and California's Attorney General. Many of these items have already re-entered national political discourse or are likely to be in the coming weeks. So let me just go to the little bullet points here. Death penalty, one of the earliest tests of Harris' career and district attorney came after a San Francisco man shot and killed a police officer, Isaac Esperanza, in 2004. Harris has campaigned against capital punishment. Okay, that's good. Because I'm against the death penalty too. You know, so that's good that she's pushing back
Me
on
too,
death penalty.
unless I get to shoot like that dude that walked in that church in Charleston, South Carolina.
Dylan Roof.
Let me shoot him. I don't like to say his name. Let me shoot him. Give me 100 rounds from 100 yards away. Let's see how many times I hit him.
See, look, I'm not trying to disrespect Christians. I just like Christians have a problem with reality, and I get a lot of flack. So I'm not, rest in power, Sonia Macy's, rest in power to all the people that Dylan Roof has slain. But from a Christian, from an African perspective, from a Pan-African perspective, Jesus ain't protecting none of y'all.
None of y'all. I'm gonna tell you something.
None of y'all. That Dylan Roof sat in the church, saw them worship. I think he worshiped with them, and he decided to kill him anyway. If you're not safe in the house of God, Bakari, where are you safe? Where are you safe?
Nowhere. You need to meet some Christian friends like mine, man. My friends take their gun to church with them. They've been doing it for years.
I can rock with them. They know the reality.
Hey, look, they've been doing it for years.
That's see, I'm not against Christianity. I'm against the hijack of the mental state of some black people having Christianity. So when Sonia Macy said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and sorry was the last thing she said after she got killed, you cannot say, I'm going to the scripture. This says there's power in the name of Jesus. I grew up as a Christian. There's power in the name and there's power in the blood of Jesus. Right? My mother used to tell me, like, anytime like you're in a bad bind or you have a bad dream or something like that, you say the Lord's Prayer. I think I see a demon. Oh, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me to great green pastures. He restored my soul. That's what I was told to do. The Lord's Prayer, and you called it, I rebuke you in it, like the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus said, "No, get thee away from me, Satan. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." You say those things, and evil just magically dissipates. So I don't blame Sonia Macy for saying that, but it's not something that is really going to help you in real life situations in the face of danger. Now, I believe that if that woman would have said anything as relevant as that, like, "Boy, I ain't gonna throw no hot water on you, you crazy," or something like that, or "Why are you worried for?" Anything would have triggered that guy to do that. But the fact that that was being said, and people like me that say, like, you see, that Jesus shit don't work, and they get like, why are you clutching your pearls? It don't. Tell me one time where there was the Klan was at their door and the church burning in front of your lawn, and they said, "Okay, you're a person of God. My bad," and it just took off running. Never.
No, never. Like
Never.
I said, man. Like I said, you should meet some of my black Christian friends. Hey, I'm sending you some right now, right? On email.
Yeah.
When you get a chance, this is a video I did a long time ago on my channel. But when I talk about my connection with HBCUs, you'll watch that and it's like 8 minutes and you'll understand.
Okay. All right, so let me do another one of these bullet points. It says incarcerated teen on transgender people. Oh God damn! I'm gonna leave that alone. she got to look. I'm fair. I'm honest. I'm extremely conservative when it comes to the whole LGBTQ nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I'm extremely conservative when it comes to that. But my question to them, because you got these one issue voters, there is no. When you listen to right wingers, they think that Democrats has a law or want to put a law in place. I haven't seen that law. I'm asking people to show me that law where you have to accept transgender people in elementary schools and you have to accept them in the most weirdest settings. When I read things, I'm gonna even read this. It's not for any. They have civil rights. So you see how black people fought for civil rights supposed to be for us. but everybody gets civil rights except for us. So women get it. Handicapped people get it. Anyone that's not a straight white male gets civil rights. I mean, even white males get civil rights, but marginalized people, which are people that are usually not white males, get civil rights. So usually these things are for protections. Let me read it. On a number of issues that came up during her tenure as Attorney General, Harris has said that as a lawyer, she was bound to advocate on the behalf of her client, blah, blah, blah. California might be aligned with her representative beliefs. Explanation for argument release of fewer prisoners than courts have ordered. Da, da, da. Harris told LGBTQ outlets, the advocate, that her role for advocating for the state same reason for office proposal of brief a brief seeking to deny gender affirming surgery of transgender people in prison. So it's transgender people. So, but the Republican narrative is like, no, Timmy is 7 and he was raised by 2 gay dads and you want to cut his dick off. That's not the case. Every time I ask them to give me something, we're talking about grown people with issues. In my view, is issues. But you're grown, you can make that mistake or make whatever, So let's go through the bulletin points on diversion programs. One Harris trademarks efforts, and Francisco attorney was backtracked on diversion program, which was fairly unusual for the blah blah blah. The program made available to some people between the ages of 18 and 30 pleading guilty to first-time nonviolent drug charges. Participants received individualized support and job training, performed community service, and were required to find work or be enrolled in school. Successful graduates had their guilty pleas tossed out and scrubbed from their records, just like you said, Brother Bakari.
So do you think she was helping? Now, she sent those, according to people on YouTube, everybody she sent to jail was black. Everybody she convicted was black.
This is nonsense.
So
no,
that
I think they're trying to say she incarcerated and prosecuted more. Again, she's a prosecutor. But anyway, she sent more black people to jail disproportionately.
She sent 45.
45 black people. That's not a lot. How long she was the Attorney General in San Fran?
04 to 2010, I think.
Okay. That's not a long time. 45 is not a lot of people. 45 is not a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure with the numbers, probably more white and Mexicans as far as the demographic. And I'm pretty sure she sent way more than 45 whites and Mexicans. And they try to act like there's not gangbangers. Like they said, like the programs that they have. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you have someone, hey, Tyrone, you're like 16 and you're gangbanging. Like, you need to get yourself a GED, get your shit straight. Are you going to take this program? Yeah. What Tyrone doing? Tyrone and them gangbanging again. Okay, it's not your first offense again, Tyrone, because you're doing a drive-by. I'm not supposed to throw the book at him? You see what I'm saying? So I'm glad you did this to me.
You're right. And like I said, repeat offenders only 10%. Literally 10%. From 50% before her to 10% during her time.
That's good. I'm glad you answered that. Got something on big banks. Trump said he ain't doing shit for us. They asked him he had plenty of opportunities. He got truancy, right? Okay, so let's read the truancy thing. Then we're gonna pretty much bring it to a close. Harris embrace of anti-truancy laws was one of the most controversial policies of her prosecutorial career as district attorney. According to Trump, she never passed the bar exam. She's a DI hire.
Some of your cousins, some of your cousins believe that.
That makes no sense. I don't know if you heard me about the whole Charlie Kirk thing when he said when he goes on the plane, he sees a black person. You say they're not a DEI hire. I worked in aviation with avionic engineers and pilots, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been to Airbus facilities where they have flight simulators. There's no different test. Everyone gets the same test. In order for you, and I worked with people that was in HR, right? And I knew the requirements. So if you get a pilot's license right now, right? there's different airlines want to know you need to have a certain amount of on flight hours, right? So if I'm work for American Airlines, you have at least like to have at least like 400 flight hours on flying Embraer or Airbus or Boeing 737 or 737 or cargo plane, right? You need that. This is what you need to have in order to qualify. We didn't even accept you yet. And once we accept you, you still have to go to freaking flight school to learn our on planes, learn how to fly our planes, and you have to pass. They can hire you, but you're only hired based upon you passing the flight simulator. There was one for black people and one for white people and one for Hispanics. So when I hear this, I laugh because they don't know. So yeah, so the truancy in her book, Smart Crime, Harris explained our own rational. We owe every child an education, and we owe ourselves additional inclination against violence and crime that's fighting under the effort. No parents ever faced jail time, and the fines levied were rare and small. All right, Harris campaign. All right, this is something good for people to have as a basis, and people are pretty much welcome to fact check this. And I'll definitely would fact check it so we could have, hey, look, leave this article. This is her record. And like you said, Brother Bakar, you said you have more articles, more evidence to validate what was being said and what you said and what we've seen just now. So that's very good. But if you want to do a show on it, I'll be more attentive to my inbox. and let's do a show about it. Let's do a show about it, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to say I'm just trying to get more stuff in order. So when I pull it up, but the crazy thing, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This election, people is losing friends. Now, I can say I had this one. He my partner. We ain't talked. I think he'll get mad. I asked him, dude. I just straight asked him, why you kissing Trump ass? Man, they ain't talking about voting for Trump. I'm just talking about come on. I say, but it's two people running for president. If y'all only talking about one, that means the other one is okay.
Exactly.
If you never say nothing about him, the other one is okay. I said, man, y'all get y'all lip off this dude ass who don't care about y'all at all. He don't care. Don't care how bad you want him to care. He don't.
And that's why I keep bumping into people. I told you before, I was on other panels, and people are just extremely dismissive. And I think, you guys are just being hyperbolic about what Trump is going to do. And I was like, how am I being hyperbolic when the person is saying that these are the things that they're going to do? You ask him a straight question, he doesn't answer it. Mr. Trump, are you going to give police complete immunity? Right? And he doesn't answer the question, and he just has sympathy for the cops and not for the victims. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? And that's what I understand. Oh, cops have a hard job. This is what Trump's saying. Cops have a hard job. They're gonna make split decisions, and we got to see, if they had malintent, they had malintention to do it, and all these caveats and excuses to just really sympathize with the police officers. But you have a person that was shot that shouldn't have got shot. Nothing. Zero. And these are the people that you can't get through them.
And this is what I tell people. I'm like, man, if y'all willing to sit back and let somebody talk about he gonna ban, you can't even protest. The example I give, and I know you remember when he was crossing the street and there was some white protesters out, right? In front of the White House, and he had them people shoot tear gas. Remember that? Just so he could cross the street.
Oh man. And I keep telling people about Black Lives Matter. They remember he wanted Black Lives Matter when they were protesting. He wanted them shot in the leg. But January 6 people that killed people and did that to the Capitol, they're fine people. I'm gonna when I'm president, I'm gonna exonerate and expunge their whole record. And I'm like, what? And I'm telling people this, and then people are like, I don't know, I'm still undecided. I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm telling black people this. White people, I get it. You know what I'm saying? That don't have any empathy. White people, I get it, that have no empathy. Those people, they're only going to care until it happens to them. But you telling black people this, and they're just making excuses. Like I was on Dinus a couple of days the other day, like a week or so ago, and he's excusing Trump's rape. I was like, yo, Trump raped a woman. Oh, it was only civil. I like Dinus. Is rape a criminal act? Yes, rape is a criminal act, but it was only civil. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean?
Man, and then I have no idea what it means, but you can also tell some of these people getting a check.
I wish it was that. I don't know, but you can only hope.
I say some.
Let's say they're not.
Let me give you an example. I'm sorry.
Let's say they're not. Then what?
Well, we understand. If you ever, then you say your wife said y'all need to get some for protection, right? That's you know the ones that ain't on your side. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I guess it was just. Oh wow, did I? Oh man, I forgot. Oh man, I forgot this one thing I wanted to show. Let me show this one ad that I want to. There's this one ad from Kamala Harris that I want to show. Then I'm pretty much gonna just end the show right there because I don't want to be too long or too lengthy. But again, and again, I know I said it before. I'm asking them like, what can, if you're a Trump supporter, right? What can Trump do in order for you not to vote for Donald Trump? And they all are saying nothing, and that's scary. That is very, very scary.
Yes,
that no one could do nothing for you not to support them. To be the most, make good judgments based upon people's lives. You have people's lives in your hand, and you saying there's nothing this person could do that you will look at them differently or won't support them anymore. That to me, that's scary. That's scary. And let me find,
like you say, a cult mentality, right?
It is a cult mentality. Hold on a second. Let me show this video and we'll comment on it real quick and we'll close out because we're almost like at 3 hours and 30. And I kind of, again, I want this to be digestible.
You've been on there that long, man. It don't make no sense, man. I don't even think I ain't been watching you that long. It don't make no sense. They don't send out the damn
I know I can see it because I'm doing it, but yeah, usually you can't really tell who's on for how long the person has been on. Sometimes I know there's some ways, but let me show this because this issue is crazy.
This ad the other day, and guys, it is brutal. Look, I have to say the tone shift and the vibe shift since Biden has been gone has been astounding. Because with Biden, look, he's an old school political ad I've ever seen.
Us MAGA Republicans banned abortion, but that's just the start.
That's just the start. If Trump gets elected, we want the government involved in all aspects of your sex life.
Way more involved.
Way more involved. When you have sexual intercourse, it should be illegal to use contraception. No pills, no condoms.
Your genital.
See, I mentioned that because about the whole rollback of Roe v. Wade and these extreme MAGA Republicans, how they don't even want, some of them want you to use contraceptives. And these are the evangelical Christians.
Are reserved for procreation.
If you freeze
condoms.
Your genitals are reserved for procreation.
If you freeze 12 eggs, you should be required to have 12 babies, or else you're a serial killer. And I'm definitely not a serial killer.
Are you?
My son monitors my porn usage to make sure I'm not self-pleasuring.
Just like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. That's true. You can look it up.
Yeah, I heard that. He said he watches porn with his son. Some crazy nonsense.
Who said that?
Mike Johnson, the head speaker of the Republican Party. Yeah, he says he monitors his son porn usage, and if he's looking at porn, yo, yeah, exactly. These guys are weird. They're Christian fanatics.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson.
That's my porn usage to make sure I'm not self-pleasuring.
Just like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. That's true. You can look it up.
Don't you think that's normal?
Yeah, I do.
It's normal for your son to do that.
You should have a family member monitor your porn use too.
Because pleasuring yourself is very, very naughty.
I'm voting in November.
I'm voting in November. We're all voting in November. Are you?
Because what happens in your bedroom is up to me.
Is up to me and my son. Also, mouth stuff is a sin.
Oh.
That shit was funny. And I understand when they say mouth stuff is a sin, because I remember, and during, if you read like the Catholic Church and during the time when they invented the 7 deadly sins and shit like that, where they're saying like missionary styles. I have books here of the Catholic Church and certain commandments, like 11th commandments, for lack of a better word, where you shouldn't do. So you shouldn't do doggy style, because doggy style, that's animalistic, so it's sinful. You're only supposed to do missionary and all that stuff. Anything else is unclean, ungodly. It's insane, man. What you gotta say about that, brother Ricardo? The video you just saw.
It was funny.
And sadly true.
Yeah, sadly true. But that's what that's what. But that's how these people want stuff to be run. I don't get, with everything black people have been through in this country, why do they want somebody to be president who want to run and control you like that?
Yeah, and the thing about that they, like, Republicans is, again, like I said before, they roll back Roe v. Wade. They send it to the states. Certain states still have those same rules that why Roe v. Wade was implemented, where rape no matter what. Say if you were raped, you're not gonna get an abortion no matter what. Incest, abortion no matter what. It just doesn't matter, right? So Trump lying, saying, well, everybody wanted, is a lie, and he says, I'm for the 3 exceptions, which I agree, but Trump is lying. He said, I agree for the 3 exceptions. The 3 exceptions will be rape, incest, and for the health of the mother. But again, that's not true, because we get back to the states, is some states have you can't get an abortion no matter what, and it criminalizes the doctors that would do that. And they also, what they're trying to do, they're trying to like monitor. That's why the whole commercial is about monitor women's menstrual cycle. And if they want to make it a law where if a woman, and let's say the state that she's not in, this how I know they're full of shit. A state that, let's say you're in a state where it doesn't permit abortion, and she's going to another state. If you whistle blow on her and she go back to the state, you get arrested and you get a reward. So like what? So they'll have a database of women's menstrual cycle, bro. That's just insane. And again, I don't want to fearmonger, but again, let's lose common sense. And I show that Donald Trump says, hey, I am for the 3 exceptions. He's either an idiot or he's intentionally doing this. He's either an idiot and don't know that they got states that do that, or 2, he's intentionally doing it because he knows when he gets back in office, he has to roll it back, have the Supreme Court disband it so it won't be a federal rule. Then when he gets back in there, I think he's going to make it a federal rule where no abortion accepted. So he's going to pivot from, oh, no, I'm just going back to the states. So when he gets them in there, like, nah, it's the rule of the land. So that's where we at, man. So
yeah, and black people want to be controlled like that. That's the crazy thing. When MG2 came on our panel the other day, I don't know. You came, but you say you hadn't seen the movie. And MG2, someone I respect, but he talking about Trump is useful. How? In what ways are Donald Trump useful to the black community? So now you got these people going out here talking about, have you heard these? They gonna vote a third party, and if Trump win, then we'll community organize. I'm like,
that makes no sense. How? It will be illegal.
And if you were concerned about community organizing, you would be doing it now.
Exactly. It will be illegal. The Republicans right now, they want, like, Donald Trump said he want to shoot on Black Lives Matter protesters in the leg. Like, he's not gonna do that to you guys though. In certain Republican states, they wanted to make it legal to run protesters over. That's a right-wing agenda. And I keep asking them, how this is not a normal. So let's say during the Obama era, right? During before Obama became president, right? It was kind of sick. It was after 9/11, right? But all other, like the Clinton one, not really. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really that big a deal. That's the time for you to make a stance like that. If you were to do that now, and all law and order is thrown out the window, you're gonna go about things law and order. You better be ready to go to war.
Well, you know, I hate to say it like that, but we ain't ready for that.
Nah, we're not.
As a group of people, we ain't ready. Man, look, how can we be organized and ready for that? And I'm gonna say it again, man. We can't even get people to say, "Man, let's do a damn meet and greet."
Yeah, we could do that. Like, what's the midpoint? That's what we need to do. What's the midpoint? Because you got people way down south, you got people way up north, like me, and you about have some people like in the Midwest. So that's the thing. Like, I would say, VA.
Yeah.
You know, VA. I would say that. That's me personally speaking. You know, we have to do that. But let me close everything out again. Basically, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I played the entirety of that interaction so you guys could see things in the context, because I know people were taking just clips of it and showing you all the horrific things that, you know, Donald Trump was saying and not saying and how he was behaving. And I hope you guys pretty much enjoyed that. And again, to Brandon, it's the grift is over, man. He put on that MAGA hat. He doesn't have to pretend to be a Pan-African anymore. The grift is over, you know. So we hope people hold him, you know, account to that. Again, these are people that do not love black people at all. They're not even that love just basic people. You have a person saying it's okay. We have Brandon saying it's okay for Donald Trump to walk in on 10-year-old girls who carries on the Epstein list. You got Dynas. Who's okay with rape as long as it's civil. You gotta go to jail for that rape? Nah, nigga, you good.
I'm like you, man. What the hell does that mean? It was civil.
I kept asking, what does that mean? It was civil.
He didn't have an
That's
answer.
what he kept saying. But Kofi, it was civil. It means that, you know, he didn't have to go to jail. Do you know the difference between civil, Kofi? That's what. Look at my last video. That's what he was saying. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? I said, Diane, is rape criminal? Yes. So he committed a criminal act? Yes. But it was civil. I'm like, wow, okay. We just kept talking in circles, and he just.
What that mean? What are you trying to say? He settled out of court with money?
Well, no, he couldn't go to jail because it wasn't in a criminal court. So the whole thing with E. Jean Carroll, right? He was found guilty based upon the evidence that they have and the testimony that they have, right? So the jury found him guilty of that, so he had to pay E. Jean Carroll money. So he's saying because he didn't have to go to jail, it's civil. So what's the big deal? He didn't go to jail. This is the same Negro that told me that, oh, Donald Trump is not guilty of, I think it was of stealing the documents because he didn't go to jail. I'm like, bro, we see video. We're not stupid. We see it in his house. That makes no sense. We know if he's tried that he's gonna go to jail. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, I just want to get it straight because he's not convicted. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Dynas is retarded anyway, but
what you call him,
Bakari.
Dynasty?
Yeah, I call him Dynasty. Princess Dynasty, but they go anyway. All right, brother Bakari, thank you for coming through. Everybody that joined in on the chat, everyone that's watching, thank you for coming through. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. If I got anything wrong or you guys got like extra information that, you know, that, hey, Kofi, you missed something, or hey, you didn't know about this, please do share. I'm doing this for the love of information and the love of brotherhood and sisterhood, for all of us just to come together and just meet as one. And yes, brother Bakari, we do need to schedule to do like a meet and greet because brother, I know you got some gems that I need to drop, and especially about a lot of things. I don't want to say it on there. Certain things, we don't need to say on there. But yeah, thank you for coming through.
Hey man, check out that
Email me,
video.
man.
Check out that video I sent you, man. Did you
Yeah,
get it?
yeah. I saw that too. Yeah, just let me know when you're gonna do a live, man.
I'll email you. I'll email you.
I'm gonna give you my phone number, man. In the email, I'll email you my phone number.
All right.
All right, bro. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, brother Bakari. And until next time, everyone, peace, love, and Black Power.
Peace out, my man. Peace.
Peace.